Thank you for creating everything that ever will be. The man's hand said that in the last stream. So thank you for creating good and evil. Thank you, Father, for creating evil because you create all things. There's only self-will, which is idolatry, and that's not free. That comes with a price, doesn't it? No free will. You have to pay the price. Thank you, Father, for the Word. You are the Word, and the Word became flesh. That's the Hamashiach Shiloh. Thank you, Father, for the one who will redeem, the Redeemer, the one who paid for from the foundation of the world. Thank you, Father, for that. Always give you thanks and lift up and edify your Agape, your Shem. You are the most high. You are the most God. You are Elyon, Elohim. Thank you, Father, for all things. Once again, all glory to Shiloh, the one who will redeem, the ones, Oligos, very few that have the crown to set at the feet of Shiloh, will they receive their inheritance. It was already written. Once again, his purchased possession. Thank you, Father, for the bride. Thank you, Shiloh, for paying the price. Thank you for standing in opposition to perversion. And you told us not to even add or take away the smallest, not even a period or a comma, not punctuation or a yod, a letter. We can't add or take away anything or our names will be blotted out. That's why very few, oligos, will enter by the straight gate. Most will enter through the wide gate because they're in the broad way. But that is not Father's will, that is self-will. Thank you, Father, for that. No free will, no luck, no such. Why would you make a wish? God already, Father, the Most High, knows what you want. It's already written from the foundation of the world. He knew Esau, and he hated Esau because he stole his brother's inheritance, Moloch. That was yesterday. Moloch worship. 25, the birth of their Baphomet trends. 3-in-1 little g, deity gods. No gods in the sky. The Most High is not in the sky. The only thing in the sky is the firmament. There is no space, or you can get out of my space. So thanks for coming in. What do we got there? Thanks for coming in, Nathan. Yeah. There are those that are blotted out. Thanks for coming in, Sabrina. Because they, by self-will, they had their names blotted out by adding a jot. That is the scorpidzo, the false teacher, the false prophets. A false prophet is a scorpidzo. Teacher is the word prophet. So he tells us not to add or take away, or we'll have our names blotted out. That's why Oligos is, or Oligos, O-L-I-G-O-S, his flock is a teeny tiny flock. Because they, very few, it says, fear not, Oligos flock. So his flock is tiny. It's a fraction of the whole. Black, brown, yellow, red, white, man, woman, Jew, and Gentile. Not just his heavens, his favorite. The heavens declare the glory of God. Earth. What about the earth? Tell me what you know about the earth. Do you live on earth? Earth are the rule, because they're ruled by their tongue, their twisted, perverted tongue, because they add yods, jots, tittles. He said, do not. From the foundation of the world. That's how you'll have your name blotted out of the book of life. Well, Calvinists, I'm not a Calvinist. All religions are vain, although predestination, Romans 8:29, he said, I also did foreknow who I did predestine. That means to be divided. He divides the dark from the light, the day from the night. He is the horizo. He said, I am. He said, be comforted to Peter when he faltered, did he not? And he said to Peter, I'm not asking you, Peter, if you phileo me. Phileo is an affection for the things of this flesh, the things you see with these eyes. He said, do you agape me? And that's to walk and follow 2 John and 6 in the commandments of Father. You do as you're told because he makes you do it. You can't be saved. He said, if I didn't call out to their hearts to seek after me, not one of them would. So you can't accept. You have to die and then be redeemed. You have to have a crown to set at the feet of Shiloh to be saved. That's the word redemption. And he said, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. So are ye ready? Are you ready? He said, have your loins girded in his service, believing in me, because believe is an action word. It's not a thought in your head. Yes, lamps trimmed, burning bright. Remember, he said, I am the horizo, predestination. I also did foreknow who I did predestine to conform to the image of the Hamashiach, the Messiah, the one who paid the price, who bared that bride price, ripped the beard right out of his face, the blood they paid, whipped. Remember, a crown of thorns. We know he paid that price because they hung him on a tree. Yesterday, they had their crucifixion with their transgender worship, their Baphomet god of three genders, beast, man, and woman. They're three in one God. Little g God, deity. Remember, on the wheel, the feast of the wheel, Yule, the Yule wheel. They go round and round. They pray to Kronos, the one who eats kids. Krampus or Santa. Satan. Satan is the adversary. Father said through Shiloh, don't add a jot. That's how you have your name blotted out of the book of life. So he said, don't add. That's the word froward in the Hebrew. That means to pervert, add, twist, warp. How about warp speed or Godspeed? Uh-oh, we're getting, we'll take a pause. Where's all his dogs? A lot of dogs. Where's your dog? I lost one of my dogs. Lost Big Tago. What about Little Caesar? Okay, so I'm not a Calvinist. Calvinists believe that children go to hell. But let's define the word hell. Gold's at 40.62 an ounce. Yep, Father's money is gold and silver. He creates all things. Father created all the gold and silver. All the evil. Isaiah 45:7. So if you ever wonder why people are so evil, take it up with Father the Most High. He creates evil. He creates everything not written. So if it hadn't happened yet, he puts the man's hand to the pen or to the, well, he pushes the man's hand. Or about woman. How about that? What's silver at? Tell me about the ratio. Somebody's talking about silver. No, I'm not any religion. Yeah, we lost Big Tug. I had him on the live stream, so, but Mr. Bone went with me today. So went to town and got some things and got a couple things done. So, what do you know about the ratio? I don't care about price, is irrelevant. I think it went up $7.40 That might be the most it's ever gone up in one day. I was trying to get people to buy this. Remember the channel, Silver's Like Gold? That's the backup channel here. Pardon me. Just coming out of getting thrown in a box. So I have to pardon my, been pretty out of the loop. I don't go in circles, so don't worry about that. Can't spin me on a ball. This one time in ball camp, take your 2 big feet and will Anakin Skywalker had Wookiee with Chewbacca and Wookiee with an Ewok or some kind of threesome. I don't know what your 3-in-1 God is, and now we got big feet. Take your 2 big feet and your big balls out of here. All right. What's going on with the ratio? What's the ratio today? I looked it up. 57. That's insane. I told everybody it's the ratio. Price is irrelevant. It's $16.50 for a burrito in Bend. That's getting pretty expensive. Silver and gold are God, Father's money. God is a title that's never written in any text. So there's no such thing as God. The Most High God, the Most God, that would be El, Elyon, Elohim. That's your Yahweh, or the one that's in the hearts, written on tables of stone. Once on stone are the scribes, but not anymore. Not under that Old Testament covenant. So, Father's gold, infinite. Gold is always going to be gold. It's unique. Nothing like it. But silver is money. Silver is the first money in the scripture in the text. Remember the dinar, the silver dinar. They sold the Hamashiach Christ for 30 pieces of silver, right? Silver bars and silver rounds, but no silver bells or balls. So, what's going on with the chat? Young said he's sorry. Don't be sorry. You can apologize, but don't worry about it. Yeah, I had a good 13 years with Big, so I miss him tremendously. But I got a long time with him. He was a puppy until the day he wasn't. So I miss him a bunch. Thought about him today. Went out there and walked back to the back where he's at. Yeah, only blameless for him. That's right. Hallelujah. Thank you, Presley. Love Ephesians. Thank you, Paul, for all his writings. We're already chosen. He said that in Romans. It goes throughout. That's what predestination is. Pro-original means he separated, he divided, he put those aside. Remember, if you spend your savings, you're going to have nothing later. You can't be saved. He has to come back and redeem. That's for the word redemption. So no such thing as being saved, no free will, no luck, no gods in the sky. No fairy is a Celtic demon, and that's a demon is a liar, a distributor of fortunes or lies to others, telling lies to other people, distributing fortunes like ho, 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 like Mr. Claus, right? Like Kronos, eat your kids. Do. So, build them up. Yeah, I took them away. So what's the difference between believing predestination and Calvinism? You can't believe predestination. Presley, believe is an action word. It's a verb. We'll take you back to school in here real quick. So faith is a noun. You have to put legs on faith. He said, remember, believing in me, have your lamps trimmed to be burning right. Believe is not a thought in your head. You can't believe a verb. So you can't. Calvinism, they think that children, remember he said you better have a millstone tied around your neck to be cast into the sea, cause one mind to stumble, right? Cast in the sea, then hurt one hair, and he knows the number of hairs on our head. That's so his children that don't sin, it's the age of accountability. Calvinists think or have this belief, if you want to use that word, it's a verb, that children go to hell, but nobody can find what hell is. Nobody knows what hell is. I don't think anybody in here, except for maybe Nathan, might truly know what hell is, because it's not a place and it's not below your feet. So if you'll define it, it'll tell you what it is. You can find it in the book of Revelation. 9:11 says they have a king. Remember, they have a king over them. They're king of. It's a king is where there's an angel, and that angel is a king. It's the one that's locked up in the pit. It's the Antichrist, and the Antichrist that will be revealed is already being revealed. The veil is already being lifted. We're already in the last jots and tittles in the last book of the Apocalypse right now. Apocalypse is not what 99% of the world thinks, because they don't define it. I am Pastor Apocalypse, so if you'll define it, you might know what the hell you're talking about. But hell's not below your feet. Heaven's not above your head. I already told everybody in here what heaven was. So it's not above your head. Earth not below your feet. Earth's the ruled. That's right. A Batman, the one that Mr. Warp Speed has his house decorated with. Yep, told you. Godspeed or Warp Speed? Warp, like pervert. That's the word pervert. Pervert. Look at Father, isn't he just a blessing to be less? No, he's not a blessing. He's bounty and abundance. Don't be less. Don't bless anybody if they sneeze. They thought they had a demon. A demon is a distributor of fortunes or lies. Remember, he cast the unclean truths out of the church. Not demons. The man said he was legion. Many lies. So cast him into the swine, and it wandered off the cliff to its watery judgments, if I'm not mistaken. Look at that. Two little pigs. So, they have a king over them, the king of the abyss. What is the word abyss? That's the word hell. What is the word abyss? Can you give me the definition of abyss? Thanks for coming in again, Zarina. Yeah, here we go. Tartaria. If you take copper and you put it around a magnet and you spin it, you got computers. %60 of China's automated. How much silver do you think that takes? God's money is gold and silver. Silver is money. Many countries, they call silver money. The ratio is at 57 right now. Told everybody pay attention to ratio, not price is irrelevant. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. I bet you wish you're buying it at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 71 is when I woke up today, and then 79, 24 closed out on Friday. So that's a $7.43 gain or something it made today. I think that's the highest it's ever gone, and I think we broke records today. What goes up must come down. Watch out for the FOMO, but I don't know. How long has this market been suppressed? What do you know about silver and gold? It takes a grip load of silver to make data mining, doesn't it? To make your phone squeeze and pinch and sweat. That takes silver. That's what makes it do that. Silver. How about that? Silver. Piece of silver, right? Silver bars. You guys sing silver bells, and I sing silver bars. No, I only got a couple, but got all mine taken from me. But that's all right. Whatever. I don't care about precious metals. They're not precious to me, but they are. Silver as a strategic metal, and they made copper, like I think this zinc. That's zinc. Copper, a strategic metal. Quit minting the penny. Mr. Warps said stop contacted that. Well, he contacted the Secretary of Treasury and said stop minting them, right? America makes no sense. Not even one. See? Bunch of numbskulls. Tap, tap. They got their tap. They got their plastic cards. I'm a plastic man. You know me. I'm a young OG. I'm a plastic. It's classic. I know. I'm just kidding. They did. I got out of jail. So I did my time, but it was all, I'm not going to talk about it, nor about it. Filing civil lawsuits. So should have done it sooner. It's what you get for being nice. The word nice means to be stupid. I'm done being nice. It was stupidity not to file them a long time ago, but it was never about money. Now it's about accountability. So through civil lawsuit, I can find them criminally negligent. So, and I've already filed an appeal, so I can tell you that on December 5th. So we're got the motion. I'm not making any plans. Father, wreck them. I'm preparing for all, doing what I do. So doing what Father makes me. I'm just doing what he did. Stood up to perverted law. If you know my charges. Oh. No, they didn't turn out well. I mean, I am home, but I'm toxified, and we'll just leave it at that. I made some critical mistakes it's okay, not like I'm going to get out of trouble by isolating my food and taking melatonin. So I don't know what I was taking, but whatever. The water down there is, I think you could probably blow fire. Just drinking the tap water down there or whatever. Petroleum pond water scum or some pond liner. It's quite the, but thank you, Father, for letting me out for now. I got to jump through their hoops or whatever. So, but go look back through the channel. You'll see I've already made my discovery. So it's going to have to get looked at one day. No discovery except for like one of my pieces clipped, the live stream was used against me. I didn't get it to bring in any discovery. So it's all right. I ain't tripping. Father does it. So remember, he creates everything not written. So whoever does whatever they think they're going to do to me is already written. So ain't nobody going to do nothing to me that Father didn't wanted me right. And Father don't make mistakes. How about that? Thank you, the Most High. Shiloh, the one who redeemed the bride. So Hogadesh, Ruach Hogadesh, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. 3 separate, not 1, 3 in 1 God. That's transgender God, Jesus. Transgender Jesus. Little rainbow Jesus. Remember the promise of the rainbow. He's going to bring the fire this time. So, eyes of fire, feet of fire. That's right. Remember Aries. Alex. Remember? Alpha Romeo. India Echo Sierra. He ain't playing. He's the God of fire. Evil is evil, corrupt or something. Huh. Well, Nathan, who creates all that? Who creates all that evil? Nathan will tell you who's creating all that evil. You'll find in the book of Isaiah 45 and 7. That's who creates that evil. So, remember? That's why you ain't seen nothing yet. Father creates some. When Father's creating evil, boy, it's going to get a lot different, isn't it, huh? Woo, thought you got it. This is, hey, the captain does not put on the fasten seatbelt sign yet, so wait until we start doing flap spins. Whew. You know anybody in the Air Force? Remember he said I'm a Hobritzo? They know about this. Hobritzo. Nautical. We'll leave it alone. Back on point here. So 57 is the ratio. That's pretty incredible. I'm like, whoa. So I talked yesterday about having copper. I want to just make, can't be on, I don't want to try to be on here all, what time is it? I get step for a little while, but pretty wore out. So, but came in here and wanted to make a mention, and like I did last time, that you know, it's supply and demand is what I was taught by my dad. And so there will be demand and there won't be enough supply. So I want you to consider the fact that copper is somewhat, in a sense, still affordable, although it probably won't be for too much longer either, because they made it a strategic metal and they quit minting the penny. Well, cents. America makes no sense, but it was zinc, and it wasn't 82 and older is copper. There's a split in that year, so you're better to get a scale and weigh them, is rather to try to look at just to separate your copper pennies from your zinc pennies. So, but save the zinc ones, because there's some zinc ones that might be worth $1,000 or something, because they got some stupid print on them, or double print, or stamped, or whatever. So change isn't something again that what? Where'd everybody go? Everybody ran away. Good. Get out of here. And you go ahead and put it in. You can put whatever you put that passage in there. Stay clever. You didn't stay last time. All this mountain pennies today, and me to put up. Okay, cool. Keep. Yeah, there goes, Sabrina. Yeah, thank you, Nathan. I know. So I went to town today, and everywhere I went, like Mary had a little lamb. No, just kidding. Just being goof. I asked him, I already told you guys this, to ask for change. Using cash, you should probably break down any large bills you have right now, go buy something, and ask for 5 or 6 or 7. Just tell, I got to do laundry, and they're going to give you quarters. I don't know, I already told you how to do the nickels. You're not giving out change unless you're a business at a bank, So that's kind of a thing that went real quick. So, you get the nickels because they give you nickel, because you don't get I keep telling these cashiers, how long you think that lasts? You keep giving people nickels and substitute for your 4 cents, and because you don't want to give them 4 or anything, how long are the nickels going to last? So you better get you some nickels. Get you some nickels, because nickels is how you make stainless steel. We already went there, but Nathan's already got the jump on that because he's part of the channel. So I hope you've been out doing what I've been saying. I got because today I had to go to Bend and get some stuff done up in there and get some groceries, whatever. And, I got a windshield wiper and stop there and get changed there. And Walmart actually sold me a $10 roll, and then I got the lady to give me $5 out of each because she couldn't have sold me a roll out of customer service. And just anywhere I went, I tried to ask for change. Got gas, used cash, asked for change. Oh, I gotta do laundry. I got this big fuzzy blanket, so it takes a bunch to wash it and dry it. So they're 70%. Look that up for me too, if anybody. I think they're 70% copper. Quarter is. So the quarter, or the copper content in a quarter. So JPM, I think you've been in there before, haven't you? Because I always see JP Morgan. So $7.43 gain today. That makes a huge jump in the ratio. 57 to 1. It was up at 80 for a long time, 90. At the COVID, it got over 120, 4, 5. It's been, man, it's closing fast. Price is irrelevant. You better watch that ratio. Like I told you, YouTube for 10 years ago, whatever, I was telling you back in, on Truth Bible television. So there's videos back there you can go look at. So it's over like $14-15 back then. So whatever, but tell people to buy. Everybody always steals my silver, so I'm over it. I'm gonna have to get on that though very soon. I need to get to, somebody to look at why nobody went and got my silver there that day and my passport, but we'll get into that. Gotta do this in steps. So is that you, Juniper girl? I think my kitty's gone. I'm pretty bummed. I think I lost Yasher. I think the other cat out here ran him off. It is what it is. Pecking order, I guess. Maybe he'll come back someday. I sure miss him. My big fuzzy Russian blue kitty. So he kind of Nugget's a little bit bigger cat. He's got a thing for Juniper. So turn that down. All right, I get the fire going. So yeah, he hasn't showed up yet. I'm screaming and yelling for him, but I don't know. I don't want to say. I mean, out here it's hard if there's just nowhere for him to go. I mean, there's just only. I mean, there is but there's a lot of coyotes out here, and I just don't know how. I mean, maybe you go to, but there's dogs, and I'm sure other people have other cats running around these farms. You need cats. It's a maintenance thing. So, yeah, we'll see. Well, I mean, cats are known to come back months later, some even years later. But out here it's a little different. It's a pretty birds get them more than coyotes. I have so many predator birds out here. Lots of eagles, falcons, osprey, hawks. It's incredible. I've never seen so many birds in one location. I do remember when I was over in Baker City, there was coming out of Ironside. There was a place almost like this real high desert that had pivots, and there was a bunch of them over there too. Yeah, it's okay. I don't, I can't. I'm not mad at Nugget, just it's a wanted Juniper, she's not fixed, but I think he is. Yeah, I hope so, but because he's a good hunter and he's a mellow cat, man. You just want to just love him. He's got, I mean, he doesn't have personality, but he has so much personality, like just his own, because he doesn't like to be picked up. He'll let you pet him. Yeah, he's not, I mean, he's loving to the dog. He loved Tango. Gosh, he was all over Tango. He loved Tango. Boy, he sure took getting Tango. Tango's lost hard. He'd sit out there every day because he'd wait for him, and then Tango go pee, and he'd go do his thing just like Tango. Pee wherever Tango pees. It's just, but it is what it is. Seems like I always when on this go to jail thing, I'd always lose some of my animals, but it's okay. We'll see. He's a good cat. He's a big cat, and hopefully he's smart enough. I went and looked through the back, I'm saying, all through anywhere he'd be on this property, and I didn't see, I'm not going to look for him here, but I don't know. Kevin said something about him having some marks on his ears. So, like I said, I think uh, Nugget pushed him out of here. So, uh, but it is what it is. Oh, I made some. He's a good kitty. He's a good mouser, and he's been here for. I think he's about 5.5 years old. He's almost. Wait a second. I think I had him before I had pants. So right around that time, he's about 5 years old. I think something like that. So love cats because they're excellent mousers, and yeah, they're just wonderful animals. They have so much personality, and they're super loving. And um, I wish I would have got cats sooner, but it wasn't my thing, until I started farming and stuff like that. I knew I needed them, so they're a big part of the farm. Big portion of living out here. I've never had a rat problem once out here, and then the whole even uh, Yasher and Juniper go over and mouse, Kevin's property too. So it's like, Nugget coming over here, I can't get mad. He wants Juniper. She's like, isn't she lovely? And he's got a thing for Juniper, so I would too if I was a kitty. She's a pretty kitty, so uh, no, she's a good cat, and she looked like she's been well taken care of. Well, I know Kevin said he didn't feed him much, but she eats so much, man. She could eat 2 rabbits sometimes if she wanted in a day and eat them. She's a savage, and I'll still feed her twice. Food she'll still go up there and eat. She's quite the machine. She can process a lot of food. So Juniper's a little girl. So little chimera kitty, but yeah, yep. So we'll figure it out. Maybe he'll come back. I don't know where he'd be, like I said, but maybe he went and got, found him safe, like you said, held up somewhere else where there's not a cat. He's away from maybe dog might be barking or hear something in the background, but he knows he's in a spot. And then, we've had some weather, so maybe he's kind of just repairing himself, like I said. Kevin said he's a little marked up, and so uh, yep, maybe before he got himself killed, he hit the road so he didn't get himself. If he hears me coming in and out, my voice, that's why I've been screaming for him a lot. And almost every time I go outside, I call for him. So, but time will tell. But thank you, Father, for creating such beautiful companion animals for us to have. And, I'm very abundant to have been able to have property and raise goats and sheep and I don't eat pork, but hogs, and, have the ability to breed or have people contact me often, are you going to do another, you know, breed of dogs? But I don't breed them like that. I've almost always sold before they're, I'm saying I'll put them up and try to offer just a couple online, but mostly they go to homes already pre-sold and go to farms or a service animal because I do the working dogs. So just think Father's just, people have a lot of other animals too they can have companionship with too, but dogs are amazing and cats are just amazing animals for us to. And since the beginning of time, people have always had cats and dogs, so not a new thing, but I'm very fond, much phileo. The creation has created some wonderful companions that do, like I said, serve purpose, and some things you can eat. Have them for a while, don't get attached to them, and take good care of them, and then eat them. Chickens and sheep and goats and whatever. I don't, like I said, my diet's super limited, so trying to keep myself from eating toxic food ever again if I can help it. So, or just a little fraction, a little oldie, a little. If I'm gonna do something like that, box of Sour Patch Kids, I was giving away more than I was eating in when they threw me in the cage there, and I still had some the last day, 23 days or whatever, and then one box. People eat that in 23 minutes, 2.3 minutes. one of those boxes. I know I used to eat a whole bag of those Sour Patch Kids. My mouth hurt, so I don't put poison in my body like that anymore. So no, I'm not buying no anymore. Try no more store-bought bread, or don't want to eat pasta if I can help it. I splurged today and got a pizza because I was in town, but gonna try to keep it to a minimum. We are what we eat. The body's a temple, so I mean, it's not gonna. There's no covenant that under this covenant He made all things clean, so you can eat anything, and that's not going to get you out of the grace of Father. So, still getting some eggs. Still getting a few eggs. It was so good because I got home from jail and Kevin had cleaned out some of the eggs. Maybe he has one of my other ones that's got the little weird, but I was trying to save those for just kind of layers. I want to put them. They're just some weird eggs that they. But I've gotten a few a day. I might have got some today, but I got home a little late from coming into town. So, man, those have been so good. The jail eggs are just, I mean, there are some that were, but the others that scrambled, and they're trying to tell me that was turkey, and I don't want to go into that. I'm going to try to get past that and figure out how to not go back to that hellhole anymore. So, Father will, whatever. Father will just do whatever He wants with me. So I'll just keep doing what I do, and we'll see. I'm not making any plans, but, yeah, it was good to have those. I had made some cabbage, and then I made 3 eggs with some cabbage, and that was just, oh man, because I make a pretty good egg. I mean, I'm not don't want to brag, but I've been in the food industry. My brother helped him, build his restaurant from the ground up, worked multiple 5-star restaurant, 5-star cook, whatever. So, man, that was just fire. What else I put something? Oh, I started with the beef sausage, that I'd made some beef sausage and cabbage, and then all that kind of that beef sausage flavor, I put that in with that cabbage, and then threw a little more butter in that, and then rolled that sauce over and cooked those eggs in it, put some pepper on them, and man, it was just like, I don't know what my kick is too. I've been eating my eggs more in the yolks. I grew up always wanting them, just runny like that, but I kind of like having that yolk a little more firm now. I don't know why. Weird. We go through phases, I guess, but I mean, I'll eat them, over easy or sunny side up, but yeah, a lot of people bake. I not that I don't bake, but that's one thing I never did, like go off and do a lot of baking. I mean, I'm more of a line cook right there on the, do a lot of different kind of events and stuff, but I haven't done a lot of baking. But baking is that's a whole different, whole side. Bakers are, yeah. I try to eat clean. I'm trying to get better at it. There we go. Yeah, I don't know why if you were the, what would people call the elite right now, you'd have to be laughing. You're like, do we even have to whack these people? They just pay to poison themselves. What kind of, boxed bag or canned food flavored poison would you like right now? What color? Yellow lake dye, blue lake. You want to throw you in the lake of fire? Red, remember red M&Ms? So they got to be like, dude, this is so easy. Then they go through the drive-thrus. We just bleach kids. You dip them in sweet and sour or honey mustard. Oh, remember? All right, so. All right. Boxman's too high. The most, remember the most high doesn't dwell in temples made by hands. So I'm not going to find him in a church or a building, or would be built by block, rock, brick, mortar, barger, whatever, raft. I don't want to hear it. Screw you, get out of here. He's written on tables of the hearts of the bride. So, and only a fraction. Most people go to hell. Don't you love it? Each kids. I mean, have a steak biscuit sandwich or bagel. Yeah, I love to cook. We got to eat, man. Life could be rough, but you got to have good food. So, man, when I'm on the outside, that food in there is just like Britney Spears, toxic. Oh my goodness. So what do you guys know about precious metals? Today was a record day, I think. I don't know if silver has ever gained $7.43 in a day. So 79.24. Holy smokes, 57 is the ratio. Every 8 to 1 is God's ratio. For every 1 ounce of gold, they drag up 8 ounces of silver with it. I call that Father of God's ratio. Silver's a byproduct of mining copper, zinc, ore, all base metals, and they drag that up with it too, and they not going to throw it away. So silver mines are very oligas, rare, a fraction. Mexico is the purest silver mine on this whole rock that you walk. I'm not on a ball. If you think you live on a ball, you need to leave, please. Now, we're not going to do ball camp or band camp. Take your 2 big feet, 2 out of here. We don't do big feet. There's no gods in the sky. You can't accept Christ. You can't be saved. There's no free will. There's no luck. Heaven's not above your head. Earth's not below your feet. There's no such word as planet ever written in Scripture. If you think there is, go ahead and put it in the text now. We'll wait. You'll be here a long time. Go ahead and tell me where it says you live on a planet. You want to tell me Anakin Spacewalker had Wookiee with Chewbacca and, with Ewok and Wookiee and now we got Big Feet or something? Don't be making up your fairy tales in here. So what happened to our light? My light didn't down there. Hold on. We got high ceilings in here. There we go. Or tilt. Remember, what was that? Game of that movie about pinball wizard, Johnny, or whatever. I can't remember what it was. It'll turn you back to zeros and drop your balls. Oh! So, but people like to spin on balls, man. Like circus elephants or whatever. It's their big top show. They're ruled by their tongue. Don't worry about it. Bunch of religious. They're religious. They go to church. Church is not a physical. This is all spiritual. There's no spiritual Jews or spiritual Israel, right? Oh yeah, there is. There's no physical anything under this covenant, or you rip the Hamashiach down and the bride price you pay, and you put yourself under the laws of flesh. That's old. You're not put me under the Levitical laws. I'm not under that Old Testament. He didn't abolish the law. He fulfilled the laws of flesh. Do you know which ones that were left? Oh, we might want to start studying. Remember, Hokadesh, that's the word spirit. We're under a spiritual testament. Remember, he made a new living will and testament. You ever filled out a will? He was the testor of that will. It's a test of your faith, right? Only by faith are we saved, and you have to die to be saved. That's the word redemption. Remember, Father is the Word. The Word became flesh. That's Shiloh. You have to have a crown to set at his feet. You got a crown to set at the feet of Shiloh? It's not like Esau. He stole his inheritance. You won't have an inheritance. You weren't written. You must have your name blotted out. Does that sound like any religion you've ever heard? Word to the word, right? So, can't be saved. No such thing as being saved. No free will, no luck. You don't live on a spinning ball. Take your little big top show out of here. Reminds me of AC/DC. I've got big balls. Like a pinball wizard. Tilt you right back out of here. Exit stage left or right, whatever. You ain't right. And see you later. Outstanding. Thanks for your time. Doesn't love everyone. He should not love everyone. That's right. He doesn't love everybody. He only loves his bride, Nathan. Remember? The Father makes them. If I didn't call out to their hearts, which the heart is continuously filled. See this darker board here? So let's say that's half full and this is full or half empty. It means our heart would never stop overflowing continuously. It says the heart is continuously filled with wickedness. So people don't use their head, they use their heart. That's that symbol of sodomy, by the way. That smack that down on the floor. Yeah, that's Lupercalia. It's coming next February. It's your next pagan worship of the wolf, the dog, doggy style, and Cupid's arrow. Shot to the heart, you're to blame. So it's agape, not love. Again, that's 2 John and 6. He makes his bride love him. The heart is continuously filled with wickedness. If I didn't call out to their hearts to seek after me, not one of them would. Since the beginning of time, there is no beginning because there is no end. You're just an idiot. Like death is a doorway. But you think you die. You don't die. You die to flesh. You're supposed to die daily. To self. Will. That's the word idolatry. He divorced his bride for exactly that Israel. And now it's a spiritual Israel. And they're spiritual Jews. So 1948, 1945, or 242, for I had nothing to do with Jews. They're spiritual. It's a spiritual table that he wrote on their hearts. Remember Hokodesh, inside the hearts of the bride? The ones he redeems. He is the bridegroom, and he has already purchased his possession. He paid for them. In blood. Crown of thorns into his skull. Not these little TV, but thorns that went into his cranium. Ripped his beard out of his face. Whipped him and stretched him back on a tree. Pegged him, right? Nailed him to a yoke. He didn't carry a cross. Nobody carried cross. That's Christmas. Catholicism. That's Calvinism. Christianity. Mormonism. Calvinism is same thing. I don't care. These, you have no idea. You change one jot, you're out of the book. Yeah, it's a teeny tiny bride, and he makes them love him, and he makes them do what they're going to do. You're not going to turn a goat into a sheep. Remember, vessels of wrath, fitted for destruction from the foundation of the world. Hashtag that out. Foundation of the world, and vessels of mercy. Those will have their names called out. It's not name, it's Shem. It's their actions, and he makes them. In that book of life, remember? It's a feast. Not the feast of the Yule, the feast of Saturn, right? You the feast of Saturn, the Saturnalia. Just had that yesterday, didn't you? A little Saturnalia festival. We're definitely getting some interruptions. We'll try that. Keeping hold of stream. I have to restart it. I think so. Hold the ball under the water and you hold the ball under the water and you keep taking it down, it's going to come out higher. You take it down, the higher it's going to come out. So there's been a long suppression on this market. So it should come out. And I don't think we've even seen close to what prices are relevant. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I don't, like I said, I don't know. You never know. So I live out in the middle of the desert. I do have a signal though. I mean, I see it doesn't. So, but it's been choppy out here. So been some weather, snow on the ground. We got some snow last night. So woke up to snow. Snow away, man. Oh. So yeah, how long has Pastor been talking about silver? So but whatever. I don't care. Remember, mine just always gets taken from me. So whatever, I'm over it. I'll have more one of these lawsuits are done more money than I know what to do with. So I don't care about money. Money's irrelevant. So I'm a cop 50 of them, get 100 off each one. Repeat that 10 times. I'll be done. So whatever. Ain't about money. There you go. Food, power, water. Are you making any of it on your own? Do you have any put away? Store. He said have extra oil. He didn't just mean like oil. You're like, oh. So, you got to have some. I'm not saying that you can't have money, but most people don't even know how to create an alternative stream, let alone try to check out of the system. So they've been bought into the 9 to 5. The hours, I'm just saying, they barely have enough time to, make any sense, and our life is just work, you know. So let's have this discussion though, Nathan. When things get really rough, you ain't growing nothing, so you better get it put away. That's what I. Give me 1 second here. We're holding the stream. Looks like we're holding the stream. Okay. Good to go. All right. I think that'll work. All right. Go. Okay. This stuff, but this is what I'm taking my, could have got more, but I buy things in small, increments. I guess that's how I purchase. It was long. It wasn't that long, but it was a long experience. A lot of whatever. Father does what he does to me, so he doesn't make mistakes. We'll just leave. That's what I said the whole time. It's exactly where he wants me to be. So he created everything not written, so I know that, and everything that ever will be. So I wasn't in there anything that didn't happen that, I had you guys look at it yesterday. So they violated my rights again, but it is what it is. I just have to deal with it. Father's making them do it to me. So nothing I can do. Just do what I'm told. I've been there, I've been a veteran, I know how to do what I'm told. So lead, follow, or get them out of my way. But I'm done being nice. And or being nice, I'm going to hold accountability and filing lawsuits, starting that process. So we'll see how we go with that. I'm working on trying to make sure I have the exact correct, so, I don't want to go back there again, but I'm not going to try to say that that's not, not possible. So at this point, I got to make sure that they threw me right back into the den of wolves of the people that put Elijah in this situation. So, and I have an appointment on Monday, and I'm not nice. I'm not going to be nice. These people will be held accountable. I already told him, that I'm placing a lawsuit, and I find that was the head of probation. So you're going to have to answer to this. We have people from all over the world calling him. So we'll see. We'll see what he has to say to me. It's a conflict of interest for this guy to even be my probation officer. So kind of ironic. They put the head of probation over me. So whatever. We'll see. Best thing they could have done is give me a probation officer that never was assigned to Elijah, and kind of disconnected himself from me. So I'm not, whatever. He's all of it will come out. I've already filed an appeal, and I'm not going to stop. I'll take this case to the Supreme Court. If they throw me back in jail, I don't want to ever go there again. It's a nightmare. It's not easy. There's a guy in there who's, been in jail nearly his whole life. He said, there's one of you been in prison multiple times, multiple days. He says it's way worse than most places anywhere he's ever been. Very few places are like Lake County, Oregon. So, but we'll see. I think by the end of this, I'll be exonerated of all this. I will not have to. They need to look at the evidence. So no, they didn't. I wasn't given any call of discovery. They violated my 6th Amendment. I've already talked about it. My 6th Amendment, my 5th Amendment were both violated again. So, and the right of due process. So again, and then, I mean, there's a fee schedule that they're going to have to pay for what they did. So that's why I want to make sure I get the right attorney this time. Even my attorney made a mistake by not summoning my son and daughter there. So whatever. It's already past that now. So there's nothing he can do about it. That's another violation. Even a paid attorney violated my rights when I was telling him not to do it. It's a mistrial if you do. But he didn't listen to me. So it is, Nathan. Anybody who's done time will tell you that's way better in prison because you got, much better commissary, TVs. It's just this place. You don't leave your cell there. You know where to exercise, but the hallway and no outside. Small little couple windows. It's just, yeah, it's a lot more than that. But it was for now. But no worries. Father didn't do anything here that he didn't already want done, and whatever's coming in my life, I will accept. I'm not gonna not accept like that. It's already written. I can't change it. So I've already been through. This is a nightmare. This is the worst experience I've ever had in my entire life, and I've been through some pretty crappy things in my day. But I put some on Elijah's timeline. Told him I love him today. I know he's not online. He hadn't been online. Neither of my kids have been online at all. Oh yeah, I don't want to go there. Oh, yeah, I do more laps than anybody. I do more laps than everybody in anywhere, always, and more push-ups normally. But this time I didn't get involved in the exercising. They wanted me to, but I told them I don't. They ended up giving me, I got 45 days, but I had time served already because remember, they've already thrown me in jail a couple times in this case. So I ended up having to do 23. Ironic. 23 days. Huh? Are you serious, Father? Are you going to do 23 with me? Huh? Play the 23 ritual with Pastor. So it was enough almost to, man, they were, it was, I'll just leave it alone. I want to talk about it. When I've done filing these civil lawsuits, then I'll talk about it all. We'll go out and, we'll just let it all out. But I got to just, yeah. I don't lift weights because they're heavy. I work. I'm a farmer, you know what I'm saying? So I lift a lot of heavy things, not just weights. But I'm bringing out some pizza going here. So, but appreciate you guys coming in. Appreciate the support of the ministry. Father's doing with me what he wants. This is a big uphill battle. I hope someday to put this story to a storyline to show how people get caught up in the system, and sometimes it'll grab you whether you like it or not, So this has been a horrible experience, and still to this day, I don't know if Elijah or Adron are dead or not. So I want to report their bodies, but I already have, remember, and so I feel that Father Ezer has them in a safe place, and contacting them right now could jeopardize their safety. So I did make contact with my stepdaughter because, or not my stepdaughter, I want to say stepdaughter. What the hell is that all about? I apologize. My daughter, it's my son's wife or girlfriend a long time, that she needs to file the lawsuit. Don't know why she hasn't already, that she was kidnapped that day. So she was. You can't take somebody without a warrant. That was an illegal kidnapping. And they all did it with weapons. And if they're convicted, they'll do life in prison, because you can't kidnap somebody with a weapon. That's life in prison. Not wrongful arrest. They kidnapped her. You can't come in there and what they did with a SWAT team and take her out of here and throw her after grenading her. That was the biggest mistake they ever made, was grenading her in her sleep without a warrant. So I want them held accountable, and there's been just none of it. So I have to. It was stupid of me not to file them sooner. That's what you get for being nice. So these taxpayers in this county apparently don't care how the actions are going on. So if they get taxed, that was my, father will take care of that. What am I concerned? Can be, and I'm not seeking vengeance. Accountability is not vengeance. So I don't want any harm for any of these people, but they need to be held accountable for what they've done. And if that causes them to have to work in a different line of work, I'm not trying to take them completely out of the, if father wants them, then they'll get locked up for the criminality, I think, that, has been involved. But I'm not seeking vengeance. I'm using the system as I always have. I'm saying the system don't work for me, but I still have to use it. So, and now I'm caught up in it because of that. So Father wants it that way for me because I can handle it. So I'll have to keep trying to just deal with it. So I now, like I said, I don't want to go into too much, but I've already said it's my thoughts prior that, why would the taxpayer have to pay? Well, they're allowing this to go on in their county, and they do this in every county across the United Corporation, this divided states of America. So, I'm over it. I'm a little bit changed from it. I really am. I hate my life right now so much. What they did to my sleep is gone. I dream, and I never dreamed, and now I dream and I can't stand it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to dream. I don't like being awake. I don't sleep very much, but I dream it's a nonstop thing now. And and then I wake from it about every, and it's like I have some serious PTSD and I'm trying to get over it. But between the toxicity of what the food was and, and the water and whatever else was going on in there, just changed me. I don't think about it like that anymore. That was a stupid decision to sit there and think that let Father hold him accountable. Why not, do not partake in unfruitful works of darkness, rebuke them. So I was just allowing it to go on. So, but I have an undying faith for Father and his word. I let him handle everything for me. He fights all my battles, and I can't change what he's already written. So I don't want it to be my will. I want it to be his. I mean, they're trying to throw my son in jail, and he's still not in jail right now. So he's either, like I said, Father's got him, because he's done his time, and more than anybody in this whole case. So nobody's ever, I just see, he wants to come say hi for a second, huh? You just come over to Dad to say hi to Dad? He was laying down, had to come say hi to the Dad. I love you. You were the best guy today with the dad. We went on the road, huh? He's my puppy that I love. He's a good boy today. He was the best puppy I ever did have today. You were just a silly guy. But once again, whatever happens, and I'm not preparing for anything. Like I said, I'm doing what I have to do, and we all have our daily things. So a little bit higher, a little bit better. All right, let's try that. All right, my bad. I'm out here in the desert, away from society, obviously, not completely, but got a new water bottle today. Something a little bit bigger, holds some more ice. I like this one. Look at this. Not the color I like, but I don't care. It was used, but oh yeah, a lot of ice in that one. So cool. Apologize. Like I said, it's out. Well, I'm out here in the desert. So I thought, like I said, I thought I'd come in here pretty. I think it was a historical day for precious metals, for silver. Silver's never been $72 or $79. It's at an all-time high. I don't think we're even begun to see what the price of silver can be. So keep paying attention to the ratio. That's what I keep telling, told the channel I can talk about it, that all bunch of different aspects of silver. But if you're going to own it, doesn't matter You know, look at the price. It's irrelevant. Look at the price of things are just going up tremendously anyway. So more price of silver, it just everything inflates. They're printing $1 trillion every 100 days. That's unsustainable. So no wonder silver is sitting at, you know, is it 76 cents off $80? Might as well just call it $80 silver. So silver's $80 because it's gonna be more than $80 to buy a piece of it if you want to have a piece of it, put it on in your car. Get a buffalo, and said all mine just always gets stolen, so I'll have a little tiny bit left. But $80, probably $85 if you want to have it in your hand. I bet the premium is going to start going up too. Yep, we're close. That's what's coming, Zabrina. I know it. And I'm just saying. And then they're going to move to copper. That's why I already told you guys to get copper. You know, as a core, it's not pushing out. Good stuff. Yep, let Father have it, Nathan. Put Father's hands. Put it in Father's hands. You try to make plans, you'll wreck them. It's a Scottsdale mint. I think it's got a lion pressed into it. I think it goes that way. Lion. Says the measurements on the back of it. What the 99 pure or whatever. So. Yep, I don't think, like I said, you take a ball under the water, a beach ball, and you keep taking that down there, the further you take it down, the higher it's going to come out of there. So I don't even think we've seen close to the price of silver or gold at this point. So, but like I said, I ain't banking on it because everybody always steals mine. So should have taken it and spent it when I could. What's going on there, Noah? Is that Crow or is that the same? Because we had another Noah too. Not sure if I know is that's the same Noah or not. Oh, I can eat some. Is my pizza hot yet? No, it's not hot yet. Might get a little hotter. Let me see. This one. Oh, this one might be here. Good enough. I'm eating. I'm hungry. Yep. Nathan, the word says, many are called, but few. Oligos are chosen. So people don't want these truths. They don't care. Remember? He blew Bubba. Mr. Warp Speed blew Hubba Bubbles. Remember Hubba Bubba or whatever that bubble gum was? Now it makes sense why he always does that thing with his mouth. Nobody cares. Got Asiago cheese and the Philly cheese steak thing, whatever there. One topping pizza, $7.99. I know they're still playing. I went to the store. They're still playing stupid Pegmas music. They're still playing the pagan Satan, sun god Apollyon, eat your kids, Cronus, Catholicism, Christians, Catholics, Mormons, Presbyterians, Protestants, Calvinists, all of them. All of them. And they just accept it. Like it's okay. And like I said, it can be bang, bang, banging in a week here, huh? Or less now, right? Banging in the new year in the middle of the winter. I got an interruption last time, banging the boss's wife, and more drinking and driving and, murder and domestic violence. All goes up this time of year. They love it. They do. Look at the statistics. Like clockwork, man. Got them going like clockwork. It's like a bunch of rats chasing the dollars. I lost. They threw me in jail. Now I'm on felony probation. They offered me a single misdemeanor with no probation. Just a single misdemeanor. I told them was taken to the box. So father wanted me to go to the box. But yep, it was horrible. But whatever, we're not done yet. I already filed an appeal, got a long way to go, and I'm not afraid to say my own attorney violated my Sixth Amendment right to fair and speedy trial and call witness in my favor. He didn't call Eliza or Adriana. It's a mistrial, so they violated my Sixth Amendment again. I ain't hiding it. Look up the word manifest necessity right now. Put the definition of it in it. Oh. Right, that's what I'm going to do now. Hold them accountable. Look up that word. You'll see what happened. Or what could have happened. Oh, well. That's what happened. Manifest necessity, or that's what didn't happen. I know my rights. It's a Sixth Amendment violation. So if they throw me in jail again, I'll just keep fighting them. Putting out with arms with my constitutional right. And if they get away with it in this lifetime, Father will make them pay back double. So I ain't trying to seek no vengeance on none of them. Father will take down them. They'll all go when Father's in his time. Yeah, I have to get a state lawyer now. I've taken it out of this county. Now it's in the state. It's in appeal. So yeah, I have to get another lawyer. This time I'm going to get point. I don't have any more money to hire. No. I have over $250,000 in this case. This case is 5 to 6 years old. It's not just me not letting Elijah stop the car, not physically stop them, that they dropped my daughter's charges for, but put me in trial over. But it'll all work out. I can prove that my First, Fifth, Sixth, Eighth, and 12th Amendment have been violated over and over and over and over and over and over again. Now, those are civil rights violations, so I will be placing lawsuit on all those, which could, obviously, if you know anything about civil, you can find criminal negligence in a civil trial and hold somebody accountable to that. So I'm not sure what these people are thinking, but it's okay. I know my rights. I'm a constitutionalist, so yeah, he's good, but I think we lost Kitty. Got one more piece here. Oh, anything but jail food. Anything but jail food. Good stuff. Thank you for hanging in us with us, Sabrina. Here. I'm not sure long how I'll be in here. I know I'm not much talking a whole lot here, but very good. I got a really nice pair of boots today. They're brand new. These are brand new boots. They've never been worn, not one time. I don't know the brand. Rocky? I don't care about brand, but they don't have a steel toe, but they're pretty hard. And these are all canvas and leather. This is all leather and canvas. They were $24. Huh. Oh, like an orange. Pretty nice. I know my camera sucks, but I like brown or black, so leather and a thick canvas, nice thick canvas. No, never been worn. Brand new. Look at that, $24. Pretty nice boots. I really like them. That's a good brand. We'll see if they last. I'm pretty hard on shoes. All right. I don't go and say it, but I have a hard time reading, remember? Man, I don't know what that says. Yeah, and I don't like, I think they're a 10 and a half. It's a 10 and a half. I wear a 10, but I like my boots a little bit big. You don't want tight boots in the cold at all. You better have too large of a boot than too small of a boot. Give yourself that little air gap so your foot can stay warm. Want this pizza bone? Puppy got part of the pizza bone. Did you get some pizza bones today from Dad? Did you get some pizza bones today? Oh, he's such a good bone. Well, I got some fruit juice out there. I'd like to go grab real quick if I could. I like water, but I don't hardly ever buy juice, but I bought some juice. I forgot. I'm going to go grab and see what it is. So give me just 1 second. I'm going to have it outside the cooler. So hold on 1 second. Oh my gosh, man, that thing killed me nearly. No, it didn't. They got me good. I'm still pretty whipped, guys. Laying on that damn thing couldn't even get an extra blanket, man. Couldn't even get an extra blanket. That's pretty gnarly not to let me have a blanket. Guy's got a lot of back problems. Nope. You're using it as a pillow. Tanner, come home, Tanner. Tangerine peach. I never got that before, but because I don't remember any, but I like Lingers. Had a little bit of had sugar in it, but it's pretty far down on the label. No corn syrup in it. Whoa, that's strong. I thought it would be. Maybe because it came second. That's pretty peachy. I was hoping to have more and more tangerine. But yeah, Langer's is better. They don't put that corn syrup. It's almost in all that stuff. So, oh man, woo! That's some pretty strong stuff there. Wow. Holy crap! Never had that. It's just that peach flavor is really strong. So it's like candy. Ooh. Haven't eaten any sugar, so it's very strong. Yeah, you see that bug juice they got in those little. That stuff's just straight poison. And then they always get it. It's in a little cooler, bug juice for the kids. Here we go, grandkids. Get your little bug juice. We just poison ourselves. Poison our kids. Here, have some ho 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 candy canes. Lick that until it turns into a sucker. All right. That thing can be construed as a weapon. You could hurt somebody with that pokey candy cane, that pain cane, huh? Cane pull, huh? Ho ho ho. You want to know where all the hoes are at? Ask Santa. Get it? Santa? Kronos? Satan? Yeah. Yeah, don't worry about it. You're past that, though, Nathan. Just so you know, we're past that time. Not going to turn a goat into a sheep anyways. It's not possible. Father already chose who's going to be vessels of wrath, goats and sheep fitted for destruction from the wrath of the Old Testament. Remember? Goats and sheep, the ones that haven't been called out yet, they're saved, but you can't be saved. Remember, to be saved, you got to be picked up and purchased later. It's like a savings account. If you spend it, then you can get nothing later. So these people like to put their treasure on this rock. You know, they're spinning on a ball. You know, the ball camp crew. You know, New Year's in the middle of the winter, bang, bang, bang. It's 2025. Hey, oh, you know, the abyss. So, but oh well, can't turn goats into sheep. It's not possible. They're already chosen. Father already knows who are. Remember, sheep at the wedding feast of the lambs. David declared him the lamb. That makes Father the ram. Does it not? It does. So, That's why they blow the ram's horn. That's why they like their goat god. They're trying to copy father, but they can't. They don't. It's just not in them. You can't turn goats into sheep. Remember? That's so beautiful. That's Father Aries, the ram. So he said before Abraham was, I am. So he said, I am the Arizo. Wow. Yep, I am the Hados. Hados is narrow, to be in the same narrow way, because he went through the same suffering. It's like a sieve, it's like it pulls you down like like that hourglass. Yep. That's the way it works. But people like to do their wide gate because they don't want any narrowing, so they go through the wide gate. See, easy peasy, fit right through the box, right in the hole, slide right in there. No knowledge of what's going on. It's 2025. God's in the sky. Hey ho! So, and they're still playing them damn commercials. Well, notice all the big cities. If you live in a big city, Father hates cities. Father created cities because they're vessels of wrath. Big city lights, man. All you notice, broad is the way. They all have a broad way and a wide and main street. All their clover leaves. I know, I was born in the concrete jungle, so right there, about as wide as it gets. You ever been on the I-5 in LA? At 4 or 3. How many lanes wide is that, huh? Both sides. So broad is the way. It's pride. Father had a pride. That's Old Testament. Remember? It is. Father had a heavens, but that's not above your head. It was his favorite, but pride is a sin under this testament. So hope you're not proud to be an American or whatever. Pride. What are you if you're not pride? If you're not proud of something, then what are you? So people have forgotten. This is not Old Testament. Father has his bride under this New Testament, and they're not in the sky. So you can take your sky daddy Jesus somewhere else. Your cane pole Jesus, remember? Catholicism, little Holy Mary, Mother of God, Blessed Mary. Mary had a little lamb, see? There we go. Got fleeced, didn't he? You got fleeced. Yep, there we go. They'll have their fireworks. It's a bell, Baphomet, that's right. Bang, bang, more bang, bang, Roman candles. Get it? Roman candles. There we go. That's old school, baby. Quote, put that in quotes. Roman candles. You should have Roman candle wars with those things at each other. There's a reason why they don't want you to have those ones, huh? They don't want you shooting those at people, huh? They were called Roman candles back in the day. They still are, but I don't know. I don't do the pagan celebration holiday, But he told us he fulfilled all the laws of celebration, so we're not celebrating, especially New Year's in the middle of the winter. And the worst thing you'd ever do celebrate is oneself, or the birth of oneself, because the birth in Scripture, there's only 2 birth dates in Scripture: Satan and Herod. Remember, he was trying to kill the Hamashiach, so that's how ignorant. They're ignoramuses. They're some of them are asses. They can't learn, but that's the word. Brutish. They have brutish in nature. They have an inability to learn. You can't learn them. Let me learn you something. They're like, you can sit there and talk to you like an Avatar or Smurfette or Papa Smurf till you're blue in the face. How about that? They're not going to turn a goat into a sheep, as I told you. So there we go. It's all the stands. Remember all the northern Gothic Vandals and Visigoths, Ostrogoths, all those northern tribes. Nathan's on it. He's on it like white on steak, or well on paper, right? Teepee for your bungle. Careful. Celebrating the new year in the middle of the winter. April Fools, you idiots. Remember, new life, new years. Springs up when? Hello. Look at that silver, huh? Right out of the water. Silver rabbit. Tricks are for kids. All right, whether or not they're not even balls anymore. They're shapes of the shapes. They like to shape them like poison pellets, little whatever those tricks. They were round like little balls. I know it. So I don't eat cereal. Oh, they try to feed me that crap in there, cereal. I ain't no cereal. I don't eat cereal. I don't drink milk. Milk doesn't do a body good when it can have a certain amount of pus and blood in it. No thanks. Maybe raising it off a goat. How about some goat's milk? How about that's closest thing to a woman's breast milk would be goat milk. So for nutrition, they supplement it for women women can't lactate. Women have a problem that happens. It's not uncommon. So better get yourself a goat. So, do you drink milk? I don't drink milk, but I don't eat or drink a lot of things. I drink water mainly. Might have I used to drink warm coffee. I don't really like warm coffee at all anymore. I might have a cold coffee, but yeah, spiderweb. That's the Oculus. Yeah. Yeah, well, remember, Satan just means the adversary. We've all been Satanists. Most people are, because Satan is the adversary. Anything adversary is at a jot, you're a Satanist. Either with Christ or you're anti-Christ. Remember, we make it simple in here. Homie, don't play that. Don't play that little clown show. You know what I'm saying? He said, don't add. That's prophet, false. If you're talking about his word, you can talk about anything else. You think God cares, Father, the Most High, about all these silly little things of the world? What Father cares is that you don't add or take away from his word or try to teach somebody something other than what he wrote down. And they have to discern it for themselves. Because remember, horses to water, don't drink it because it's toxic. They eat a horse water, but you can't make it drink. This knowledge is the word knowledge. So you can lead a person to hell. Well, hell's no knowledge. You can lead a person knowledge, but you can't make them think. So people got to think for themselves, and most people can't. They think it's 2025. They think God's in the sky. They think dead people go to heaven. They think heaven's in the sky. So take your sky daddy Jesus somewhere else. Remember, it's not rocket science. Just he said, don't add. That's why I focus on the gospel. Father makes me. It's not like I have I can't stop it. I'll never stop the gospel. Gospel till I die, till my last breath. But my last words, I've already told you, are speaking the gospel. So, yep, only 2 birthdays. So there you go. And they just did it again. So bang, bang. Pretty soon they're going to have a New Year's party, shooting Roman candles at each other. Hey, the things we did as kids. So let me get some more of that juice there. Oh, man, this stuff just... Oh, that's strong. Oh, I wish it was more tangerine than peach. It's more peach, but that's okay. I guess peach is not that bad, but oh well. Life's not Burger King. All right, let me stoke my fire here. Oh, man. I made a mess. Pick up the rim. Not like a wood fire. Show you the fireplace here. Unlike a wood fire, eh? Yeah. Okay, hold on. It's a whole different kind of heat. Nice chunk of wood here. Ponderosa pine. Ponderosa pine. Yeah, that's Ponderosa. It's not lodgepole, that's Ponderosa. All right, let me go put this juice back outside. I don't know if I want the juice or not. Do you want the juice? I don't think it's pretty strong. Kind of have my hard time. It's juicy. Oh, where'd it go? All right. Give me 1 second to get the juice. Did I get a coffee? Ooh, maybe I'll grab a coffee. I did get a coffee. Hold on, I'm gonna grab a coffee. Let me see if I can. I did get a coffee, didn't I? Get one of those cold coffees. Ooh, cold coffee. 1 second. Jennifer girl, did you come inside? She did. I don't know, Fee. She didn't come inside in a long time. She doesn't want to come inside. Look who it is. Look who's here. She hasn't come inside in a long time. She likes being outside with the kittens. Why'd you come inside? They haven't been wanting to come inside. Look at the pretty little pea. Oh, little sweet peas. Oh, it says of the girl. This is why Yasher got run off, because Nugget loves Juniper. Let's go put you back outside. I know you came inside. See if you want to come back inside again. Or if you don't want to come inside. Do right there. Never leave the door back. Food. Much of food. Cover over the food. She wanted more food. I found a little coffee here. Hold on 1 second. Look at this. We'll get set down here. Oh, yum. Oh, I drank too much coffee. Yeah, she's fat. She want more food, though. Oh, careful there, Nathan. Or get thrown tossed out of your house. You're going to be sleeping in the doghouse, man. But Father says, don't sup with vipers, don't cast your pearls before swine. So if you want to receive your inheritance, you're not going to turn a goat into a sheep. You're not going to, remember, you can talk to your Papa Smurf there. Going to turn blue like Avatar, one of those characters like maybe some Star Trek. Remember that Spock nailed the first blue, I don't want to say it, but on television before there was an Avatar, Papa's, or well, Smurfette. You can't. Remember, they're brutish in nature. Father will pull to the hearts of the bride, and it's just a teeny tiny bride. So just, I already told you, tell everybody, well, you just said it. Everybody's evil. I'll let them show you they're not. You'll know them by their fruits, not judge them by their cover. That's why black, white, brown, red, and yellow, Jew and Gentile, man and woman under this covenant. So love thy neighbor like thy enemy, like thyself. Do unto others you want done back to you, because the measure he pours back is the measure you pour out on others will be returned. And he pours out a just measure. Remember, people get paid double. Don't seek vengeance. You got to be endured to the end to be saved. Well, I can't. I'm not trying to be no home record. Do what does the word tell you? Do what the word tells you. Don't do what the world tells you there, Nathan. He said, come out of it, right, people. Do not partake in unfruitful works of darkness. Fruit. Remember, you do not judge them by their cover. You know them by their fruit. So they like to play little fruity Jesus games, you know, silly reindeer games. Ho, 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 with their fruit cake. Nobody ever eats that crap. Nobody. Does anybody eat that fruit cake thing? That whatever that. Ooh, nope. Not me. You know you ate the damn. Did you guys see the commercial with the kid? There's that little Ford that he rides. The parents hide it, and then he said Santa's better at hiding or something. I know, Nathan, it's hard. I mean, when the word calls you out, you know, it beats you. You know? Yep. Well, I mean, like I said, you gotta do what Father tells you. Don't listen to what anybody else. Nobody's gonna be there holding your hands there, Brother Nate. They're not. It's just gonna be you, Shiloh, and Father. Your wife won't be there. Your kids won't be there. Nobody else. Just you and him at the return at the seventh shofar. Yep. I knew you before you the womb. I set you apart. So you can't turn goats into sheep. You can lead them to the light through the word, but he is the light. Remember, you know, he's the separator. You know, show them the way. But hados, they don't want it. Broad, see, you can't. P.O.Box to be pushed by, because your friends don't, and family don't like you, and your job don't like you, and you just keep getting, it gets worse and worse and worse. So that's the way it works. So it's not anyway. It's not supposed to get easier. It's supposed to get harder. That's the way life is. So that's the hados. It's a narrower. It's narrow, not narrow like some narrow. P.O.Box is to be pinched down. P.O.Box is to be pushed from both sides. That's a Greek word. This is the noun. P.O.Box. P.O.Box. I ain't going to push through that straight gate. You're not going to get through that straight gate unless you go through the narrow way. So, Broadway Jesus. Pretty good actor in the mirrors. All the wonders for them. I'll make you see why Stevie had the wonder. All right, never mind. But you can't turn goats into sheep. That's just the way it works. It's just people are going to have to want it because Father makes them. Otherwise, he said, if I didn't call out to their hearts to seek after me, not one of them would. We won't. We'll go after this. Mammon, these two thieves remember he says the two witnesses he'll send. I wonder which ones those are. The ones that hang right here. See that? So you got it. Just keep staying in the narrow way. Sooner or later, you know. Yeah, this is two witnesses, huh? It's that left one and right one that'll steal your crown. Remember? He said, I come quickly, let no one take your crown, right? If you don't have a crown to sit at the feet of Shiloh, then you're not going to the... Remember, he's got the key to the wide gate. That's the key right there to the wide gate. Imagine that. That's the key to the wide gate. Who has it? Shiloh has it. Shiloh is the key that opens up the abyss, gives it to the Angelos, and that's at the day of the Lord, great and dreadful day, the opening, revealing. So it's already here through spirit, remember? So they're not the, but that's when he's gonna, that gnashing of teeth. That's the wedding. Everybody else goes to what they think hell is below their feet, but they're already there in headspace and time, and you know what I'm saying? Angelos, messenger. Angelos is a messenger. Revelation 9:11 says they have an angelos, a king over them. The angelos of the abyss. Abyss is knowledge. BYSSS is KNOWLKNO, knowledge. Let's just leave it at that. I'm writing these spelled in English for you. You guys know how to. People just don't want it. So you're not going to force somebody to want these things. Father already chose who his bride was. He paid the bride price, and they're his purchased possession. So you're not going to find many people who want the truth. That's the word aletheia. He said, I am the aletheia. They want the Broadway. They want their own version, and that's why he divorced his bride. Idolatry, self-will, the service of images and your eyes, and what you want, making your own Shem, that is authority, or the old Torah was the Shem, or the law, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Remember the first 5 scriptures and texts that they was 613 statutes, commandments, the old Jewish law that applied to the Levitical high priest of Aaron and Levi. All right. If you were not related to Levi, you're not from the house of Aaron, you were a Gentile. And he didn't love everybody back then, and he didn't love everybody now. Remember, he only loves his bride. Those are the ones that'll enter through the straight gate. So many are called, but oligos find the straight gate. And he said, fear not, oligos will find that straight gate. That's right. Fear not. So they're already chosen. You're not to fear. That be not anxious. He told us, don't be anxious. He created all things, and everything not written, what he worried about. Everything not written and everything that ever will be. So if it ain't happened yet, Father's created that. So if you have faith in that, then nobody's going to do anything to you that Father didn't already. He wants to test you to see if somebody does something to you, if you'll seek vengeance and go after them. Yeah, well, that's whatever. That's sure. Anything you do, for just so you know, Nathan, I'm gonna say for real. I mean, anything you do that's anti-Christ, meaning Satan, an adversary of light. Not see. I really wish people actually knew the agape under this testament, because Father doesn't care now. Remember, through Shiloh, what you eat, he fulfilled all the laws of. So you're not celebrating getting to Father, having riches. That's not, do not judge them by their cover. You know them by their fruit. It's not what you eat. There's no dietary laws. Father is not concerned about the earthly things. Earth is the rule. The people are ruled by all these things of the flesh, because he divorced his bride, Israel, and he made a new covenant and said they would call out their Shem, or their agape, remember, their name. It doesn't say name, it says Shem in the Lamb's Book of Life. So people think it's Bob. My name's Bob. That's not the word name. That's Shem. That was Ham. Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and Shem meant the law. Well, I'm going to go there, but you just don't, you got to wake people up. They don't see it. So that's the way the law is now, but we're not under the agape of the Old Testament. You're not getting there by celebrating. He fulfilled all the laws of celebration, all the traditions, all that we don't have, the set apart days, the Feast of End gatherings, the Feast of Trumpets, the unleavened bread, all these requirements, the 2 turtle doves at the altar. If you wanted, you had to come to Israel three times a year, no matter where, if you were around the Mediterranean. Well, at the time called the Great Sea, now the Mediterranean Sea, you were hugged up there by Patmos, right, by the gold mines, and that's Israel. You had to come to Israel 3 times a year and have these set apart end gathering days, Feast of Tabernacles, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Feast of Trumpets. I'm not going to go into all the old, but we're not under this. See, that's what people don't realize, is that Shiloh fulfilled all these laws of celebration, customs. That's why he said through the prophecy fulfilling the destruction of the old law in the Testament that no stone will be left upon another, where he literally had the army surrounded, remember, because they started worshiping Baphomet worship, these Gothic tribes, the north of Israel's, Samaramis and all this Samaria, and to the north over there in Rome, all the Gothic and Vandals and Visigoths. I already told you guys and taught this channel this over and over again. This is the worship that's three on God that was taught to all the tribes. But remember that he split the tribes at 10 because Jezebel had married Ahab, and she had taught this Baphomet worship, which is modern day Christmas, or what we know in this channel is Jesus, the worship of this December 25 Jesus. And then bang, bang, New Year with their Easter, and that's Passover. At that time, Father required the sacrifice of a lamb to have the post, the head of your doorway, your post marked with red by blood of sacrifice of lamb, and to pay 5 shekels the price. And he paid that bride price, remember, to fulfill this Passover. They ate lamb. He was the Passover lamb that they ate at the Last Supper. They didn't eat crackers and grape juice or men's bodies, masse, remember, that's, or women, but eating human flesh. They do their Christ Mass. Eat my body, drink my blood. That's Catholicism, cannibalism, vampirism, celebrating birth. And we know we're not supposed to celebrate anything, especially birth, because the only birth written in Scripture is Satan. That's what they're celebrating. Apollyon, the one that's locked in the pit. So that's what they do. Why do you think these people push this on this world? Because that's the world we're in. Welcome to Revelation. All right, it's there. I already taught that. We're already in the age of where the veil has been lifted. That's the eyes of the bride. They only have the ones that are going to see and love this gospel, love these truths. It's not what we want, it's what Father wants. He pushes us through this no matter what. We're going to just keep doing what he tells us. And remember, he said, we're not here to make friends. Remember, I already taught you the word nice means to be stupid, just like me to sit there and wait, and should have just put it in Father's hands and held these people accountable a long time ago. But I had to make it about money. Now I think it's kind of had a reverse effect. I don't want it to be about the money, but it needs accountability. So Father, do not partake in unfruitful works of darkness, rebuke them, let Father do it. So it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not, my situation, I'm just as guilty. I make mistakes too, but we need to let Father, I let him fight all my battles, but he's going to continue to push us. It's not the whole idea that, things are going to get better and great again and all that. You couldn't be more anti, those who say peace. We know he said, I didn't come to bring peace and safety. Sudden destruction will come upon those who call out for peace and safety. So this is all these warnings of peace and all this. These people are putting it right in the people's face through wars, and remember, rumors of wars. They have this, it's all by Scripture. These people who obviously know the text and like to hide it through whatever I need to go into. It's Christmas. It's right in front of everybody's face. It's all the celebration of this, have the spring, have better sacrifice and for the spring goddess in the new year, to the thing we just came through here to Ishtar, Samaramis at Passover. Like I just said, Father required sacrifice. Remember, he told us, Abraham, take your son Isaac on, but that's God of the Old Testament. God required fee. Remember, Feast of Unleavened with the 5 shekels paid to the king. It just brought you through a bunch of sacrifice. Are we under any of this anymore? No. We're not celebrating anything. So people don't want it, though. They want to keep celebrating, telling themselves that this is okay. And they don't even realize in America, it's a Roman orgy. Christmas is an orgy. Whether they like it or not, it's a bestiality orgy ritual of old Rome, and they love their orgies. Whether you like it or not, that's how they went out. And this is one of their, this is the Yule, the feast of that Big Dipper going around the pole star. They thought there was a goddess of heaven. They thought the sun was dying at the equinox, so they prayed to their god Saturn, Kronos, and try to slow the sun. Saturn has the slowest in the firmament marker up there rotation, and they thought they can slow the sun by praying to Saturn. They were stupid idiot pagans. They didn't know the firmament and how it, declares the handiwork. They were heathens, and he tells us that in Jeremiah to hear what the Lord say, Israel, learn not the way of the heathens and be not dismayed at the ways of the sides of the firmament. They make these markers and pervert these and celebrate these calendar days and spin it on this equinox and perverted this calendar, taking the calendar of the old Hebrew where it's 5786. It's not 2025. 2025 is not the year. The Hebrew year is 5786, but you're not going to tell anybody the year right now. Everybody thinks it's 2025 and they're spinning on a planet, remember? And Earth is below their feet. Earth is the ruled. Heavens are not above your head. Heavens are the ruling class. Heavens and earth are not what these, remember, firmament. Read the book of Psalms. It's Psalms 19. Somebody put it in the chat for me. These people don't love the word. They love the world. So they speak of their sky daddy Jesus. Remember? Can't turn goats into sheep. Well, obviously I'm not. I know that. I know the Hebrew calendar from the beginning of that marker, though. And they're all. That's the alignment where the New Year's is in the spring. They perverted this. That is their Gregorian, where they combined their pagan calendar with. Remember, this has all happened at the time of Rome in the 12th century. Go do some more studying there, Brother Nate. You should all have this. Brother Jim can help you with this too. You can go quick study his because you can really easily look up. He's so good at this. It's just, I wish you guys would spend more time over there too. I don't talk about it much anymore, but it just, people have to find it for themselves. I mention it, obviously. I don't stop mentioning it, but should mention a little bit more. Brother Jim help you get your base back, or help you build a base if you don't have a base, which is good because you don't want to be. Timelines are pretty important, knowing. It's not everything, but people, he gives all us a different measure. Let me just put it that way. Not all of us. And Brother Jim has always been given bounty of knowledge beyond 80. He's 80, almost 80 years old, something like that. He's, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he's awesome at that though, because, you could just go right back and study and get yourself right back. Because some of this stuff we do, it says it's written on the hearts of the bride. It's already there, Nate. It's already there. Seeking you shall find, not a wife, a new wife, an old wife, a house, a car, a job, get me out of this, asking you shall not, same thing. These are the word, Hokadesh, spirit, discernment through his word, through using these tools that have been given to us, the interlinear lexicon, eSword app, all these things I keep, through the ministry, try to give you guys the amazing, we're all held accountable to the measure, he gives us, we can use the tools we have. Remember, I've talked about being in a time where you had to go, 100 miles, I don't know, 20 miles, 30, I don't know how you got to some, places people spend all day just to go hear a pastor's word. And I told you, it's watered down Jesus, Sex Pistol Jesus, the whole New Year Jesus, the one we're celebrating right now wasn't the true gospel. So they're not going to be held in the measure we're held in this time of Aquarius, where the age is already anew, and it's been since the, coming into the conjunction, the great conjunction. Nobody talks about any of these things, but they don't know their ages. They're still stuck in the age of water, they're received in the age of Pisces. So that was the age of deception, and that age is long gone years ago. That's the start of this 6th extinction cycle and the great 12,000 year cycle. This part of this Yuga cycle, but people don't want to talk about that too because they don't know anything about the Hebrew calendar. They don't know anything about this Greek calendar. They think, they do religion. So, they forget that we're all eternal, but most people are flesh. So they're not going to think of it that same. They're just, that's what the flesh does to people. That's why Paul told us in Ephesians 6:11, wrestle not against flesh. So, and it's the laws of the flesh too, as I was saying earlier, that, you break one, you put yourself under, you rip the Christ, the Hamashiach. Christ is not a term written in text, but the one who was anointed for us, he anointed himself in that blood too. Remember that told you all the blood that he spilled for us, he paid all that for his bride. So if we get suffer in this life, then, it's part of this narrowing. It's just part of what he does to his bride. He beats the ones he loves, and they die to self daily, and they love him no matter what. and they're his bride. They're his bride. It's his purchased possession. That's what it calls it out in Luke, calls it out in Matthew. I continuously give you these two, sister chapter bear, your crucifixion, your suffering, and narrow yourself, deny yourself daily, and take up that burden that if you were loved by the world, if they hated me before they hated you, if you're loved by the world, they'd be hated by my Father. So you're not here to be nice and make friends with the people. Your family after this death will not be your mom, your dad, your aunt, your niece, your uncle, your brother, your mother. Your mother actually is not your mom. And that's where people have gone wrong. Their father is not, he said, call no man father. So your family is your family in the narrow way. And those are that are doing the Father's will. And those are the ones which will be with after this. But most people don't want to, yoke with these truths. They don't love that. They love this worldly. And your bride, remember, it calls out in his book, it says, those that do the will of the Father, it says your brothers, your sisters, and your mother are those that do the will of the Father. And it's not talking about your mother. Your mother, I've already spoken on this over and over, is the correction that I have to correct myself with. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. We use the word on each other. Like I told you when I was locked up with that guy, I was saying Christ. He didn't want to hear it. He said the Most High. He wouldn't accept me saying Christ. He just didn't want to hear it. And I know I told him in the beginning, I got you. So there, Christ anointed wasn't written in, but he still would keep correcting me. That's your mother. Your mother corrects you every day. And I told him and said, no, that's good. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to correct me if I'm using it. And I've already told you, I know, you need help me to narrow that dialect with you so I don't keep using it. And he would. I'd slip every once in a while because I'm just in there and kind of a loose tongue trying to let, all the ear here in there. And he knew that, but he's like that. He was being my mother, and that's what the mother does. It corrects you. Your mother and your father correct you. And that's what the word is. So people don't understand, I've called my son on this channel, my brother, mother, son, because he is somebody, again, that I know he loves the truth and he loves the Hamashiach and he loves the word. And it's not because I made him. He just, that's, when he was with me, and he's been remember, he was civic on this channel. He's a moderator for, whatever. It is what it is now. Father has him where he wants it, but he's not afraid to speak the truth. He loves the gospel and he will share it, and has, when he was young, he just was drawn to it. And it's weird because I didn't push it on him. He just, like I told you, he told me, I said, Dad, do you ever sleep? Like, yeah, why? I sleep, he's like, because every time I wake up, I go, Dad, you go, what? I have to never have to say it twice, because I'm a single dad and I had him and I live with him. He's slept next to me. We kind of smaller space, whatever. And, but then he said, I'm over there studying, and he'd asked 4 or 5 times and he can't get my attention. Dad, 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 Dad. He's, a little different, at night than you, kind of a fire guard, if you will, as a single parent, but I understand. And there was a lot of times he was there and I wasn't half paying attention because I know he was nearby, and where we're at was, kind of ironic. He's right over my shoulder most of the time. A lot of the time he was, more times than I not. And that's what he revealed to me, Dad. A lot of times when you were in these studies and I come up and try to get your attention, I realize you're in study. I just sit there and kind of watch you for a while. And so I didn't want my son to, it's kind of like his relationship with his mom. He had issues. He just can make his own decision. It wasn't the best thing for him. I'm not going to try to, whatever. His mom didn't, I don't know why his mom doesn't care about him now. His mom didn't even call me. She won't even accept my call, look on Facebook or anything about it. Her son actually took all her son's possession and brought him to his stepdad's, which is, it's a bummer for Elijah, but Elijah's where he needs to be right now. I love him. I can tell him that. I'm not breaking a contact order at this point. So, and like I said, I hope, Adron is with him. I think they're together or they're both gone. We're already told that on this channel. We'll find out through, hopefully soon. So I want to press the issue because I fear for their well-being. I mean, just, I know Father has them, like I said, so I will step forward when I get these civil lawsuits taken care of, and they'll feel like they can come wherever they're at. I don't know. I already found them once, so. But anyways, it's okay. Father doesn't make mistakes. So your brother and your sisters and your mother, like I said, I called Elijah my mother's son because he loves the word. And so that's who you're going to be with. And I don't know. I'm not for sure. I don't even know if I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? That's a channel thing that we've robbed. That's not scriptural, but how do you know when you're when that's already chosen, when you're the bride or whatever, is when you question whether you're not. I mean, that's not in scripture. That came from a long time subscriber, and it's been years ago, and we've used it since then. And I loved it, and I thought it was brilliant. I've always shared that here with you guys continually, that you got to question, you got to keep narrowing yourself. You don't get complacent and get comfortable and think you can just do your will. You got to keep, Father's going to keep pushing you. Got to keep pushing and hard. Just continue on, march. Be like Daniel, have faith. Let be thrown into a den of lions and just stay in the word. Be not of the world, come out of her, and whatever suffering happens, Father covers you after this life, because those are the ones he chose. Those are the ones he's going to call out in the Lamb's Book of Life. That's why none of these churches, people go sit down. He ain't a sit down on your ass Jesus. He's a stand up, bear witness, bear cross. Cross is to be crucified by the world, to be hated, not loved, to do Father's will. That's what he means. When he says in Matthew, deny yourself, he's talking about idolatry, the service of your eyes, the things you see, anything from the dirt. Don't serve the world, serve my word. I am the word. Remember, the word became flesh. That's the Hamashiach. That's Shiloh. That's the one we're going to stand before. And if we don't have a crown, then we're going to put ourselves under the laws of Old Testament. Death, wage, one sin, you're done. Whether venial mortal, remember, it didn't matter. This New Testament's not changed. Add a jot death, add a tittle death, add even a yod, that's a letter, death. You can't add to his book. Can't go tell anybody lies about his book, so you got to be very careful when you speak his words. That's why I keep this 100% gospel, when we talk about the word. So we're not coming out of that. Through tribulation, through Paul's writing, remember, that's the first thing he said. We must go through tribulation to receive that kingdom of God, which people think is heaven, and that's to receive, the receiving that crown that you have to sit at his feet, or you will be under the laws of Old Testament. You'll gnash teeth. You'll go to hell. You won't be at those. Your Shem, your Agape, not John, Bob, Sarah, Tom. Remember, Shem was the authority. People think name, they think Jesus. That's the deception of modern day religion. Waters people down. He is all the words, but he's not words that are perverted. He's not words that were added. You have to be able to study his word, and the word is aletheia. That's the word truth, and you can find the truth by definition. So if you leave definition, you leave the truth. Jim Brown, Grace and Truth Ministries, okay? You can't. If you speak in your own version, that's idolatry. Divorced his bride from making up their own law. And remember, that's what's going to be called out in that book of life. Action word, verb. I want to see your loins girded in my service, have extra oil and be burning bright when I return. And that return for you could have been already thousands of years ago, because you're laying in the dirt. But that great and dreadful day of the Lord, the last trump, the final, remember, trump. There you go. That's the seventh shofar. Remember, that's when the seals are opened up, the key is given, right? And the wedding feast of the lambs. And then remember, your name. People think it's Bob, they think the name is Jesus. So you got to start studying this one word at a time, or you're lost. Thinking it's some kind of name. You know what I'm saying? Name is like Bob. That's not what he means. He means all of the 613 statutes, commandments of the Old Testaments, which was Genesis, Leviticus, Exodus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So he blotted out the laws of flesh. Remember, now you're under this New Testament, not by flesh, but by spirit. Hogadesh is the word spirit or ghost. And Father is the Most High, so he's not some kind of, there's no such thing as ghost. I'm not trying to belittle Father, because Father is ghost. Father is spirit. There is no ghost. Like people believe in ghost. That's the word Hokadesh. And that is spirit. That is Father. That spirit raised within us. But there you go. Unclean spirits is a liar. That's where demon. That's what he cast out of the church. So That's what I'm saying. Whole, unclean, ruach, holy. I don't like the word holy, but you know what I'm saying, because that's a more modern word. But you know, without blemish, spotless, sovereign, the creator of all things not ever written and everything that ever will be. It's in his word. It says that. So if it ain't happened yet, guess what? Father's word. So didn't make it over that way today there, Nicole. Tried to, but just too many things got to get done over here. But it's okay. Father's will be done. So we're yes. Him's dad's best boy. He was a good boy today. He was up here earlier on the stream. Don't come say hi, Bubbin. Come up here, buddy. Come on. Come here, come back. Come say hi. Come up here. Come say hi to everybody. Oh, he's got to love the dad first. You were the best puppy I've ever did have today, biggest bone. My best bone that I ever did best that I have all the single time. Okay, hold on. We've got to arm behind. Oh, let's get that straight. Oh, come on. Stop it. Okay. You want to come say hi? Come over here. Come here. Get up here. Hold on. He's got love on dad. He's got to give dad a hug. He's a lover. He's a lover. He's a lover. He just to love the dad. You were such a good guy today. You're always the best guy. He minds so well. You were a good boy today. Give dad the paw. Oh, the paw. Oh, yeah. I just had some pizza. Yeah, and I actually went and bought some beef. You know, because I have a pretty beef diet. I eat more beef than anything. You know, I don't eat anything anymore, but beef. I love the boy. He was a good boy today. He went to ride with the dad, and he loves going for a ride. He's always such a good boy in the car. A little whiny when he gets close to home. I'm such a handsome. He's my pants. He's Pants, he's Bone, and he's Yotter. He actually has 3 names. I mean, he has some more just pet names, but those are his 3 names. So his first old body was Bone, but he's yeah. I know where the beef comes from out here, but actually I bought a cut that I had bought from Winco because I was in town today. So I got some chuck eye, and that's my favorite cut of meat. So I need to barbecue for the next couple days over the weekend and eat all this meat. I only bought, a couple of steaks and some burger, but I'll have some more, I'm sure, for a little bit after that. But burger left, but we'll make us some. I bought another cabbage, so plan on doing cabbage and meat. That's always good. And got the steaks there, a couple of them. They're not big steaks or anything, but the chuck eye, so it's not a, yeah, well, it's not going to stop going up. They've been, crushing the numbers on the herds for a long time. So, yeah, I make a pretty good chuck eye steak. I don't think anybody can make one better than me, but that's okay. I'm not saying like that. Y'all are good cooks, but I've had people, I got a recipe for steak it's pretty simple too, but everybody's got their secrets. I think I've shared them here before a little bit on how I make a steak, but I think a steak should taste exactly like when I make it. The flavor, it's just, I don't add a whole bunch either. So forgot something today. I remember, so that's okay. Probably gonna have to go back to town here. Got a lot to do, so might have to make several trips to town. I like New York. New York is your You got the New York side, a T-bone steak. You got your New York strip side, and then you got your tenderloin. So that's the right side of the T-bone that you like. You like T-bones is what you like. You like a little more coarse. So look at a T-bone. That's that cut right out of that side, and the more tender side over there. So that's the right side. The New York strip comes on New York comes off the right side of a T-bone. You like T-bone steaks. You like the right side of the T-bone. So, yeah, that's how I can make it. That's why I like the chuck eye. It's the best cut on the whole cow. I sold meat for. I was the meat man. People used to pay me to put my meat in their mouth, so don't want to get me started in here because I'll sell you a whole freezer and the meat if you let me. I'll back up the truck and you can just go get your checkbook, and it's all guaranteed for a whole year. I don't want to hear it. I'm not the ice cream man. I'm the ice cream man for grown-ups. I do steak sickles. I sell all frozen, so I'm cooking from frozen. So did it for a long time. So over 10 years for sure. But it's a good job. All people, most people eat meat. A lot of people don't. I don't hear that crap. You're vegetarian. You eat chicken or seafood, right? Well, a little seafood, yeah, okay. So I don't hear no. So I should just go do it again for fun, just to do it. But I did it for a long time. But it's not something, I don't try to sell you a rainbow vacuum or something that you don't need, that you're gonna stick in your closet, or something you're gonna re-gift. You got to eat, right? So yeah, I was trained and opened up offices and closed offices, shut down, and moved a lot of product for companies. I was their wholesaler. I was a brokerage wholesaler, so I don't sell you small volumes. I say half a cow, but in this case, you can cash your pull in my truck. I got seafood, chicken, and pork, so you don't have to eat all beef. So take care of all your shopping for a year right here. It's the biggest part of your grocery bill is the meat. You'll be like, damn, look at this. Look at all this money we got because you invested all your money in it. Remember, I'm not the Schwann's man. Come sell you a box like a lawyer. I do it by the case. Well, I used to have to move a lot. I had time to be breaking up boxes and stuff. And yeah, but see, sales is fine. But when you're selling meat, what are you talking about? I don't have to lie to nobody. I have more cash stills than everybody in the business. I ain't going to sell you something you don't want. So I don't have a lot of, people call me back, with any, issues, because I don't sell people meat that don't want it. So I might be pushy, but you eat meat. So the first time guy, I loved it the first time I ate it. So that guy tried to give me a job. I just wasn't ready. I was working for Culligan International at the time, so doing water. So I wasn't ready to move into what I bought from that. That guy came out of the back of a freezer or something, whatever it was. Kind of got to roll the dice, but man, once I was hooked, man, I loved it. And then later down the road, I got into it because I was in sales. I was working for selling motorcycles here in Oregon for Cycle Sports Eugene. I don't think they're open anymore, but it's like one of the top salesmen in one of the rainiest states in the nation. They're selling bikes. It's not hard to sell in a floor showroom. People, you don't come. I like going door to door. I like to earn I don't go back and hit repeat customers. Now that I'm always finding a new customer. I like new customers, not old customers. Figure my product's that good, they'll call me back. I don't get on the be-back bus. Like I said, I just did it a little bit different than some people. Most people will break up their product and try to sell it little bits at a time. And I don't do that because it just makes a mess. And I'll just take it home with me if I have to break something up. I might break it in half, but I don't start breaking it in pieces. Normally, like I said, like a lawyer, I do it by the case. The big boxes, not just a couple at a time. So I'm not wasting no time. So I come up and say, well, you got one of those deep freezers in your house, right? Uh-huh. See, not that hard to figure out, so. Just got in your door, right? Honey, we don't have a deep freezer. Okay. So There's just approach. So I didn't mind doing it because, like I said, it was a little bit more enjoyable. I don't have to worry about trying to do, like I said, smaller. I just did it bigger, and it works out better because I can do it much cheaper, if that's a thing for the people, if they just spend a little more money, you know. And people on a budget, and they figured out the first or second time it was helping people out, you know. And I'd always encourage people to go sell my customers, and I don't want to go back to any of my customers. So I didn't get a lot of customer repeats, but the whole thing is they couldn't make money more than I sold it to them for. And I always sold it for a higher price than most people in the business. Not much more, but on average, because I moved more product, you know. Yeah, no, honestly, it's selling meat. I mean, like I said, think about that, Nathan. All day I'm hyped up thinking that people are paying me to put my meat in their mouth. Careful. Don't leave your freezer unlocked. No. That was a good job, you know, because the quality was there, high, and they all from, seriously, guaranteed for a whole year. Company replaced it. They have any problems, you cook all the steak directly from frozen, the chicken, the pork, if you ate pork from frozen, all golden medallion, all wild caught seafood, all, you know, free range chicken, traceable, trackable layings. I didn't mess with no crap. I wanted to, and then I moved higher quality product into the business and told these people, we need to stop selling this pork, get in some grass fed and open some doors, and, you know, could move more, you know, move a better product overall for the guys that had enough, you know, ability to, hold on a second here. To just move a better product without this additive to the normally the additive was natural, not like a bromine, what they do is a tenderizer, which is a halogen, but you know, like papaya or different, you know, they would use a more natural product to soften, uses tenderizers and stuff like that. But there's different quality of meat, so most of the stuff, you know, that goes around, it has a little bit of like I said, I call whatever they take the store bought, and that the steak's not supposed to look red like most steak is not red that you see in the store. That's all been dyed with the red dye. You know, the natural red meat's going to have more, not, you know, burgundy, but a kind of an in between. And you can normally tell if you eat enough good quality meat and get good cuts of meat, it doesn't have that store bought candy cane red ho 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 Santa look. You know, it's more, like I said, I'm not saying deer meat, but you know, you know, people have gotten accustomed to that, so they pump it full of water and broth and dye, and people have gotten so, you know, that's how this is run through this. It's no roll, it's whatever. I don't want to go into all of it, but people like it. It's not that bad. I've eaten it, you know, with a little bit of a, you know, a lot of this stuff, like I said, I could get packs with no dye and still have a little added in pump. There are little things you can do if you're in the business. You can do what the distributors were and get better or less quality, because it's all there, it's out there. But most people don't get a chance to get that. They just go to the store, you know, and the meat guy doesn't come by and try to sell them some meat. So the Schwann's man might come by, but you know, I'm not sure if you ever bought from one of these. There's it's a lot of crazy stories in that business too, guys. You know, they're just give some money to make $2,000-3,000 in a day. Some crazy things could happen. Yeah, I've never seen any of that kind of deal, honestly, in the business, Nathan, like you're talking about, that are thin like that. But normally what's frozen in anything I've dealt with, but that's what you're going to deal with in grocery store meat. The thing that's different when you're buying from most of these distributors that I'm talking about, this all flash frozen, so there's no shrinkage or anything like that. Most all this stuff is triple trimmed and diamond cut, just a little bit different quality than I don't know if people sell some of that, or there's some weird stuff that that's gone around in the business too, that people do some weird things to meat sometimes to push it out into market. But whatever, like I said, we started on this talking about cows because, you know, the herd just keeps getting thin, smaller and smaller, so it's harder for people who will do things like that. You know, people do anything to make a buck. So the government's, you know, there's not much inspection except for the front side. These grocery stores have been caught over and over doing what I was telling you. pumping this stuff full of water. That's why it's got that maxi pad or Tampax or whatever below it. And that's what that's there for, because it's filled with broth and dye. So you get that full of pump, and a lot of people pay for a lot of gristle and bone. And there's some pretty, like I said, it's, now they corn feed everything and grain feed everything. So it's just so much change, grass-fed beef is the way to go, you know what I'm saying? But these people have gotten used to all this, grain and corn, mainly finished, and not a whole diet, but it just really softens, and it allows them to do a lot of things to the meat in the beginning and then pump them with that at the end, and it just softens it up for market in a sense. So cows don't eat corn and cows don't eat grain like, at large amounts. They have wander into grain, but they are normally a head down animal that it's going to eat, whatever. But people don't understand anything about, yeah, see, you need to finish it with grain. You shouldn't have to, but that's okay. That's what they do with them, feed them, grass to begin with, in a lot, and then finish. There's no grazing. An animal just sits there, and yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So it's all right. Like I said, I think the best thing to do now is raise your own. I go on and tell you horror stories that you never want to hear what's done in the markets, but I won't get into that, but anyways, a little bit, like I said, I bought that Winco cut, and I know it's got a little bit of that dye in it, but I don't like that cut of it. It's hard to get the chuck eye. So I get it here, but it's pretty expensive up at this, with this meat here. But, like I said, I'm splurge every once in a while, and I cook it pretty good. I put a pretty good fire on that out, on the meat. So, it's pretty tender, though. If you never had a chuck eye, I would recommend. It's much like a ribeye. Some people don't like that, less. Like I said, that's the left side of the T-bone. Yeah, I'm glad I got some meat, though. Went to town and got some meat, because I can't. Pretty soon here, I'm going to try to hopefully figure out what's going on here, and I'd like to talk to Kevin the other day and bringing in some meat. I don't want to buy any more meat from the store if I can help it at all. So I'll take it upon myself if he doesn't do it. But if I told him I'd go in kind of half and half with him, I was hoping to, and because I have access to a freezer that I want to start put up a couple boar goats, and maybe 2 or 3, and then see if we can't get a good female in here too, and start, throwing some extras here so that we can continue to, just time to work, time to turn this place back into the farm that it should be, and so I said, I'm going to try to bring some more people in here, and some serious people who want to farm and want to do this. And so, because there are some people pretty serious right now. Probably eventually, like I say, get some more chickens, and I'm not concerned about laying them now, but it might not hurt to add to the flock now to kind of get the pecking order. So once spring gets here, that they'll be ready to start laying them, dropping them like we have, so we can water glass, and hopefully by then get a freeze dryer out here and be able to do that. So, because I do have a power source, so I probably could get a freeze dryer again. It'd make perfect sense. Number 10 can is like $65-$70, yeah, and I'm not on parole because I didn't go to prison. So, but I'm on probation. Yeah. So I didn't have to be on probation, but whatever. You got to remember that they offered me 1 misdemeanor, interfering with a peace officer, and no probation. And I ended up with 2 felonies and another, and a misdemeanor. So, and felony probation. So supervised. So that's what Father wanted for me. Went to jail, all that nonsense, but whatever. Father's not make mistakes. So, but it is what it is. I'm done with it for now. And, like I said, I'm not concerned about, they did it wrong. Again, they violated my rights. So I know it, and I'm not going to be all freaked out about it. I just, good stuff. So, but I'm not taking a deal. I'm not going to let them take money from me, because that's what's happened, and And I don't care if it's just a little bit, because they got their misdemeanor and they're not getting their deal. So they made way more money on me, but they didn't do it willingly. So, Father's cover me for that. Whatever happens to me, he got my back on that. If I'd have taken a deal, he wouldn't have my back. Then I'd be going by their deal, giving in. Please take a gain for the bar. I ain't giving the bar any gain. I already did. All that money I gave to John didn't work for nothing. He actually, he violated my rights. So it is what it is. I told him not to, but he did anyway. So I can't help it. I remember I told the public, appointed, what is a public pretender or a defender. Even they all work for the bar. So they all give other, that's what they sign over to the bar. So it's not America. It's that District of Criminals, or DC in Washington, that they all to the Queen. So they're not loyal to the U.S. public that people think. So let's see what my attorney did, but he got, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I ain't talking no shit. I told him to call summons my son there and my daughter, but he seemed to think that I didn't break the law. That's what he told the jury. I didn't, because I have the right to use my mouth. That's not breaking the law. They dropped Adrian on his charges for the same thing they brought me on trial, and I got convicted of. Isn't that funny? How off our law is. You think there's some normal, normality and some, no, there's not. Normally people don't take, actually 98.5% of the people bend over and take it deep and agree to take a gain for the bar. That's called a plea bargain, or an agreement. I agree to let you extort my merchant number. So, they drew my money on my bond. Thank you. On my bond. It's called a merchant number. It's your merchant number, but I didn't do it willingly. Remember, I was never arrested under any capital letter name. I was arrested under Apocalypse Revelation. I was told I was going to receive additional charges for lying, false official statement to a police officer, but I told him, that's what they call me, Revelation, Pastor Revelation, was it whatever. I just laughed at him, but I told them I'm not a capital letter name, so they can sit there and play that too. So they'll do whatever they want, like I said, but it doesn't matter. Now I get to pour out the measure if Father wants through civil. I don't, like I said, I'm going to make sure I get the right one. I'm considering even going further, away than I have, than now, but I want to see, what. I want to sit down and have a consultation. I've made, it takes a little time, and so I'm doing that right now. That's when I'm making my, not making plans. Father will provide. So it's, I can prove that my, First Amendment and my Fourth and my Fifth and my Sixth have been violated, and Eighth and 12th over and over again. And those are all civil rights violations that I will sue for. 100%. I won't stop that, no matter what. I don't care how many times they keep throwing me in jail. I'll get out and I'll try to keep doing it again. So we'll see. Hopefully I don't want to go to jail ever again. Hope Father doesn't write me to go to jail ever again. I'm done doing that, but it is what it is. I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. So I'm making plans. Father will wreck them. But I know they're not taking money from me willingly. Remember, I could have taken an easy route, not had felony. Now I can't leave the state. And I'm under the same people who threw potentially Elijah. I have an appointment Monday, guys, with these people. And, and they don't, like I said, I'm sure they're on here watching. I'm whatever. I ain't tripping. I've done everything, like I said, by the book, Whether they realize, I told you yesterday, and I made live streams about it. And, they didn't call Elijah or Adriana to witness. That's a terrible mistake on the court's part for allowing that to happen. That's a Sixth Amendment violation. To call witness in my favor, to call in discovery witness. And the judge has to declare a mistrial, which is a manifest necessity, but he didn't. So how John, my attorney, allowed that? Because they're loyal to the bar. So, but it didn't mean that didn't happen. So, and now, like I said, it got to this point, I can't even call Elijah and Adriana because I think it would potentially wreck wherever they're at in a place that I don't want them. If they're fine, then I'll get this civil lawsuit taken care of. Men, they can. Maybe when I have $50 million in my bank account, they'll come out of hiding. How about that? And we'll put it in the ministry's name. I'll make a little travel fund because all this will be taken care of. I don't care. This case worth more than I told you. I get $50 million on hit me in the face with a grenade. Can't hit me in the face with a grenade. That's an excessive force. Use of force regulation does not allow them to use that type. I was not a threat at that time. They have discovery, and I know I have the discovery they gave me. That says they were watching the inside of these streams, so they knew what I was doing in here. That's their discovery. So they made their own, from the beginning. There's just too much. So it'll all come out, or somebody will come kill me or something. I don't worry about dying. Father is going to keep me alive until my day of death's already written. No, not just a dad standing up because they were trying to throw my son in jail when I know he did his probation twice. So there you go. What's this probation officer expect me to say? I already told him I held him responsible for my son's murder if he's happened with, Marshall. So we'll see if they want to talk about this, I don't know what their plans are. So he's probably going to try to violate me any way he can, throw me back in jail. That's what I think they're going to try to do. So we'll see. But remember, I haven't broken any laws. Just a dad has the right of affirmative defense. It's the Fourth Amendment right to be secure in my house, papers, persons, effects. Gives me the right to protect myself from legal prosecution. Excuse defense. Justification defense. Excuses my actions. Justifies my actions in a civil criminal trial. My attorney didn't bring it up. Affirmative defense. I talked to him about it. Said he don't need that. He didn't break the law, but still, should have built a case. He didn't. So that's his bad, not mine. So I paid, but I didn't get to, obviously, what I paid for, but it is what it is. I got what Father wanted, so. We'll see. We'll see what Father has written. I know it's going to be, it's not going to be easy. It's not easy so far, so. But, yeah, well, I know I 100%, even the criminal attorney says I have been violated. My civil rights have been violated. So, in multiple ways. And then he violated mine. So, I don't, like I said, tell me he didn't. Why didn't he call my son into, he should have, just to cover his own ass. And Adriana. But they couldn't because they dropped her charges. So there's no conspiracy in that case, So. But it's all right. I have no idea what's going to happen. Like I said, I think this guy's going to, I don't even know what he'd say. I'm serious. I don't know what this guy's going to say. I already told him last time I asked to have a meeting with him. He came to my cell and never met with me. He came to the cell and talked to the other guy that was in there, but he didn't call. I asked to have a meeting so I could sit down and at least talk to him, So now he's going to be able to talk to me. So will he talk to me? What is he going to, I don't know what he's going to do. So, but I already told him. I hold him responsible for my son's murder, and he said he didn't seem to faze him. He said Elijah's been seen in the county that his record, the county record that his stepdad lives, his mom, and over there in Lane County. And I don't believe that at all, because he was last seen in Josephine County. So I don't think he'd go to Lane County. He didn't have any reason to go to Lane County. Maybe he does, but not in my eyes. So if they keep seeing him, why don't go pick him up? I think it's a bunch of hogwash. So crazy, this life of mine. I don't know how I make it. So I appreciate you guys just kind of witnessing it. And like I said, I'm just going to have to let Father, deal with it. And whatever's accountability, he's going to pour it out. So I will, like I said, I'll keep fighting this until I take this Supreme Court. Well, I plan on doing that, Mario, but I don't think I will need to do that through the civil lawsuit. If you'll hear me out for just 1 second, that nobody's in here, but thanks for coming in, Mario. I figure through the civil lawsuit, they'll have a team of investigators in this case, because there's just so much discovery in the case that there have not been looked at that has to be brought into discovery. At least the first 17 days of the, and then looking into the case that's actually 5 years old. This case starts with a rapist out here in this county that was allowed to run around for a whole year while my son sat in county jail. And they keep forgetting that. And I'm not going to forget about it. And I don't need to go into the detail that, that's not, my son is the only one out of 5 guys to sit in jail. And one of them was a rapist who didn't go to jail. So Dad wasn't happy out here at all. And that's why they constantly attacked me, because they normally get away with this out here. But my son was the only one who stood up. So he's the one who paid dearly. He's the only one who go to jail. I mean, this from the beginning, this case is targeting. This case goes to, and it will now. It's out of this county's case. It's out of their hands. I'm again, they can do anything to me. So I don't even have, I don't have any idea what this head of probation is going to try to say to me when I meet with him in town. What could he say to me? So I'm sure he's going to lose his job. I mean, he allowed this to happen, and I had 258 hours and years calling him about why is this going on, and even with the old, like the sheriff, trying to get their attention, say, hey, there's some things going on up here. You need to come take a look at it. You're in the southern portion of the county. There was stuff going on up here. I asked him to look at. I've dealt with other things with this other sergeant that was out here, and it's been a long ride. This case started 5 years ago, and at that time I was actually protesting the COVID, and which I have a First Amendment right to, and then law enforcement not for getting involved with it for the community out here that needed their help. But they didn't want to stand up. They just licked the boot because they are the jack boot. So it is what it is. Like I'm not going to go back and try to change anything I did. I know I have the right to peacefully assemble and redress grievances, and that's all I'm doing in this case, is using my First Amendment. Remember, I didn't shoot anybody. I didn't beat anybody up. I didn't touch anybody. I didn't do anything but use my mouth. So felonies for using my mouth. They keep throwing me in a rape cage. I get raped in there, but I'm just saying it happens in prisons and things like that. So it's where they're trying to send my son for 5 years. So I'm not going to allow them to just throw him in a cage. So good for you, Elijah John Werner. You have the right of affirmative defense. It protects your actions. You haven't committed any crime if you ever hear this. I used to think my son listened to this, but I don't think so anymore. Couldn't even understand that when we had a no contact order that he could listen to me, but he couldn't make contact with me. And, that wouldn't break his third party, by creating the contact. So, but I didn't know where he was at, but I don't know if he ever watched any of the streams or not, but, at least he's not paying. They're not getting paid on his 5-year downward departure right now. Good for you, Elijah. Don't let him extort you, man. You too, Adriana, for being with him. If you're with him, I hope they're not hurting. Neither of them are hurting, but I know their life can't be easy if she's with him, because she supports him as his wife, and he's looking over his shoulder with a warrant. He got shot last time, remember? So, damn. With his hands in the air, so, yeah, the SWAT raid's going to sink the ship too, and all the other things that have gone in the case. So it's not a threat to anything. It just it's going to get out to get looked at one of these days, right? So, but it is what it is, Why didn't they allow that? So, but whatever. Father has a plan. That's why I said when I was in there, Father doesn't make mistakes. I'm right where Father wants me to be. Even he wanted me to, one of those jurors would have said, but that's okay. This is the way Father, I mean, I don't care what, it is what it is. They violated me. They didn't allow my son or daughter. That's called manifest necessity. If there's a missing credible, witness that needs to be there and they're missing, the judge has to call mistrial, and he didn't do that, and he should have, and he made a mistake. So Judge Vandenberger made another mistake, and it's not a threat. I got to go in front of this guy and do this every time with this, and these people, now they're throwing me right back in the probation system that got my son potentially killed, and they won't listen to me. And now I'm in their system just as his dad being a voice, and so it'll get it taken care of one day, or it won't, and I'll just have to I'll reap what I sow. So I haven't, like I said, hurt anybody. Anything but use my mouth, telling them, hey, you can't do this. This is what the Constitution says. You're not following the law. So I never thought it would be this hard. And it's still hard. Like I said, I have so long to go. I've got to find, actually, I think, this is going to probably take more than one attorney with this case. Case is 5-6 years old. This is not just some small little deal. It's a big case. It's a big, 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 big case, And I'm going to try to actually have some kind of off, not main lame stream movie done on this. I want to try to document this before I die. I think it needs to be. People have ever asked me, have you ever written a book or anything? I think I need to document this situation, what took place in the last 5 years with Elijah, what happened to him, how he did all his probation, they didn't care, and then he did it again. They still were trying to throw him in jail, so I had to stand in for him, and that's why I'm here now, years later. 5 years ago, this all started 6 years ago. So, when he could have just taken a deal to begin with, and he didn't, he didn't take a deal. So he stood against the system, and the system didn't like it here in this county when he stand up against them. So, but I now know again that if I'll get an attorney to look at this. I have appointments with, like I said, I've made more than one, trying to make sure I don't just. I'd like to get a second opinion, so I might move further out. I might even look out of the state at this time for an attorney if they want to step in, because it deals with the state of Oregon. The state of Oregon was at my house and destroyed my property and wrecked this cabin. The windows are still shot out of the front of the windows in this cabin. So people need to be held accountable, and the feds have already should come out and police this case, and I've called to them. I even called them out on the SWAT raid. So it's very surreal, and I think if somebody made it into a movie, they wouldn't think any of it would be possible. At each turn, it would rip your heart out of your chest to think that somebody could be put through this kind of but I'm sure I'm not the only one this case is obviously very unique in its own case, but it happens to a lot of people, especially out in this county. People have a hard time getting off probation out here. So I think it is because these same heads, keep rolling out here doing these things, what they do. So, but we'll see. It's at a state level. It's out of the county's hands right now, but I do totally feel again as if, this should have already been looked at, years ago, but nobody wants to. It's like I don't have a voice, I keep speaking, but nobody's, I'm not, it just keeps pulling me further and further away from. So I'm glad I keep putting it in Father's hands and keeping having the strength to do it, but yeah, that won't never happen though, Nathan. Remember, because like 60% of the people, almost work for the government. Military, private contractor, state, county, federal, all that. This is a government corporation. That's what the people are here. Debt slaves to the system, to the stock exchange. So, man, my freaking eyes. Oh my gosh. Ugh. I feel like I got gassed in there, guys. My whole head is just still, my body just feels so, man. Water was something else. But what time is it? Probably gonna head off here, guys. Yeah, I'll have to do that, Mario, another time. We were just not really. Just horrible. It was it just was not a good experience, and this is not a good jail. It's one of the worst. really has just a lot of issues. So I'm a role model inmate. I don't, whatever. I get no trouble or anything. Just do what I'm told, or I'm not going to go in there and raising Cane's not going to get you, there's more charges, and then, get to try to fight the case that you got currently going. So, but, toxicity is all I can tell you. Just the constant television, the lights, the LED pulse and all I hate this time of year and all the television. It's like a mantra, these commercials that they never stop playing. Half of them are Sky Rizzy and Paxil and all these drug commercials. Just half of them are drug commercials. And then Christmas, it was my dad died on December 23rd. I was locked up, never been locked up in jail on the day my dad died, but 36 years ago, 3 or 4 days ago, my dad died. And so it's not a good time to be in jail. So lots of crazy things, obviously. Yeah. We'll talk about it later there. I don't want to go into too much detail. I mean, it happens what it happens, but I think every way they could, they try to, just make it hard on me. I'll just give you one example. They handed out candy to every cell in there, all of them, every person except for mine. So there's some proof that there was something going on in that cell of mine. Going on or not going on, so it is what it is. I'm not the only one that noticed. Other people were noticing. So apparently they put me through their own experience there. I feel as if I was drugged, so, and because the only other time I ever felt like this in my life was when I actually had to take, when I got in a third car accident, and they were making me take, some morphine, OxyContin pills that I was refusing to take, and I had to take them for a few months, and they made me feel worse than I'd ever felt from the pain and the neurology, all these, got a lot of issues, sciatic and all these things, that it was worse. And I took them for 3 months. It took me 6 months to get the taste out of my mouth. So I just feel like that right now. So they did a number to me, and they, or the system, or it, or what, I don't know what it was, but I'd like to say I feel better today, but I think I got a couple hours sleep, maybe, but I don't know. I keep having this issue now with dreaming, and I don't dream, and I keep waking up having the stupidest dreams about everything and anything at about 2 to 3 second interval. I only dream with like flash in a pan. If I dream, I don't dream all night, and I normally only don't dream until like first thing in the morning or AM if somebody died and had to wake, but had to wake in there. No, but so it's I can't sleep because I keep dreaming, and I don't know what dreams are about, like everything and anything, and like the weird. I hate it. Something's wrong with me, 100% since then, because it was, I don't know what happened. So something's changed at night. So I'm not really excited about going and laying down right now because I'm not getting any sleep still. So I had to take melatonin in there to try to even get, I think that's where my biggest mistake was, and isolate my trees. So I made a couple critical mistakes in there that I will never make again. So if I don't hope I'll ever have to go there, but yep, I don't know what's happened, but I can't stop dreaming. Which is something very new for me because I haven't dreamt in pretty much since I was young, as a child, up until, dreamt a lot up until my dad died, and then it really changed everything. I didn't dream for a long time after that, and then a little bit, and then that's kind of always became my habit. So, I mean, my dad died at 16. I joined the military at 17, so, and then off to shift work and stuff. So, yeah, dreaming sucks. I wish I can find something to cancel the dreams, but I have to do that. It's cannabis, so my problem. Can't medicate right now like I wanted, because I'm gonna make sure I don't do any of these violations or figure out what the hell's going on here. So I'm trying to work in control to get my medical card, filled out some paperwork today on that so that I can, because that seems maybe that's the issue is, I'm not have in cannabis, and that's known to suppress people's dreams. So works for me, I guess it has. And so I don't, because the dreams are stupid. They're like all these weird scenarios where I'm like caught in this little jinx because I don't know where I'm at or who it is. And it's like, boom, and then I wake up. It's like, damn, every time I get to sleep, I have a dream and I wake up. It's just, it sucks. It's like I'm dreaming about all these things that I don't even know about and don't want to be thinking about. I don't even have any idea what the hell these things are, half of them. I'm not even part of half the dream, which is alarming me to then or it's like a jinx dream where I don't mean like that, where I got to figure out, or like it sucks. I don't even want to go to bed tonight. And I'm so comfortable in my bed, so absolutely comfortable in my bed. So I feel like I'm floating on pillows and stuff. So hold on, let me have that light. Let me put another some more wood in here. Let me put some more wood in here. So, anyways, I'll figure it out. I definitely need to get looked at eventually sometime here. I'm going through civil lawsuit. I don't want to go to doctors, and I haven't avoided from having a concussion and a stroke and whatever, the bleeding of in my head and my and all the tear gas. It's just been a long get to recovery and get my body. It's not ever going to return to what it was before that SWAT raid. So eventually I'll probably have to get to some doctors to get something documented, see what's going on in my head. I'm not bleeding anymore, but I'm sure that had some kind of effect up there. And I know my lungs aren't going to ever be the same. They're not. I just don't have, I don't have that breath like I had. I don't have the, I still can breathe, but it's not the same too. My hearing's different. My sight is different. And so now my whole time where I got to sleep, not to think of the world, has been interrupted by all this dreaming. So it's horrible because it wakes me up. So I don't sleep a lot, but when I'm sleeping, I don't want to be dreaming because I don't want to be awake. I want to have a break for the world. So I don't know why people want to dream. So I've been so abundant for so decades of not dreaming. 30 plus 40 years ago, the last time I had any kind of long dreams. When I was a child, I dreamt a lot, but like I said, my dad died at 16. I was having dreams up till that, and that changed from that point on. And then just kind of always been a kind of person. I lay down and pass out, and then I wake up. If I might go back to bed after waking up, first part of the day is when I normally would have a dream, So, and they're normally pretty not off the wall. I don't have a lot of, I'm saying, 'cause I don't do it enough, or people, oh, well, you don't remember yours. I know when I dream, and I know when I don't dream. You know what I'm saying? You just don't remember your dreams. You dream. No, I don't, because I don't sleep like you. You sleep 8 hours a day. I sleep 4, 5 maybe. The hours are broken up. I don't sleep. I wake up 5 times to pee and wake up in the middle of I'm always awake at 3, so. So we'll see what tonight leads. I'll probably get off here and go lay down, but I appreciate you guys this time and hanging out with me. It's just been kind of recovery day, trying to I haven't done anything. There's nothing done out here. It's kind of in shambles. The wind's been blowing over 100 miles an hour out here, so there's a lot of stuff overturned and a lot of work to be done. Surprised how much things can get neglected when you're gone for just, I wasn't gone that long, but a farm takes upkeep, so yeah. Let me go try to rest my body for a little while, and appreciate you guys' time tonight. Thought I'd come in here and do this, let you know what an insane day. $7.43 an ounce it went up. Silver hit $80. That's crazy. I should probably call Josephine County and tell them to go investigate Marshall. Actually, I want to do that too, but I want to actually make that part of my lawsuit. I want to sue Marshall Radonich for taking my silver, but responsibly for the murder of Elijah and Adriana. He's going to have to prove that he's not involved with that. So, because he is, I know he is. That's where I led the cops where my daughter's car was at. I don't need to disclose. I already did all of it. So, Father didn't make mistakes, but appreciate you being here for me, the channel, and this is a real difficult time. So I'm glad I can get in here and keep documenting what I do, So there's a witness. So it's not done in vain. People know that I'm somehow, my son will still know I'm out here trying for him. And I'm trying to, I don't have any vengeance towards anybody, you know that. Vengeance. No, I'm not doing no vengeance. So, lawsuits are just accountability at this point. Like I said, but I'm not gonna be anxious. I know Father's got this all written already, and so he's doing what he wants here. He's putting me through I think hopefully this final violation of my Sixth Amendment will. They should have just called. They should have made sure Elijah was there and Adrian was there, or they shouldn't have had a trial. And that is my violation of to call witness. That's a Sixth Amendment violation. It's a due process violation. It's inadequate counsel. So that's a 5th, 6th, 8, 12. I mean, due process, cruel and unusual punishment. This is overboard. So excessive force and all these things for using my voice. So they've lost their qualified immunity. I know that. I know what qualified immunity is. They can't break the law, and they did. So there are laws put in place, and we have these amendments, and if they break these laws, I can hold these people criminally liable. And there's ways to make sure that it doesn't happen again. I've spoke about it on this channel, and it's through the system of suing their bond. Just like they're taking from my bond, they're bonded because they're in community or public service, so they have to be bonded. So not what I wanted to do, but this is how Father wants it. So I'll keep doing what I need to do legally. I know my constitutional rights. I'm not breaking any laws here. There's no threat of vengeance. It's called civil rights violations, and so they can't break the law. And so they can't violate my rights, and they have over and over again. So I really wish they would have just had Elijah there. And obviously they can't, because they say they know where he's at, but they can't have him there for my trial. Do you see how stupid that is of Jake Greer to say that to me? I just had a trial without my son, and he knows where he's at. That's Father doing that, menacing me, just so you know. My thing between me and Father. That's pretty incredible. I told you that the movie would blow people's minds. They would never think that it could even be something that was real. Oh, this is some AI movie. This can never happen to anybody. They call it AI movie or something, you know what I'm saying? But, oh well. Life's not Burger King. You can't always have it your way. So, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting me have your ear. I'll give you one. We'll close on just a little conversation on silver here. I don't think we've seen the bottom of silver yet. Well, the bottom, but the top, not the bottom, but the top of silver. Keep paying attention to the ratio. I'm blown away at how quick the ratio is changing, though. 57-1 is a lot further away than it's been. At about 100 to 90, is the average for the last 5-10 years. So it's really closing fast. And I talked about the ratio for so long to pay attention to the ratio. Price is irrelevant. You should have been, not coulda, shoulda, woulda, been buying it back then. So $80 silver, huh? Interesting times. And 45.33 gold closes at, and there's a premium to buy both of these metals if you want to hold them in your hand. So I don't care about money, but it is God's money. Gold and silver is Father's money. So what an interesting time we're in. Might put away some copper if you can find some copper. There's copper out there, and it is somewhat affordable too. At this rate, you might not think it, but copper could get very expensive as well. And there'll be an interesting time when people start ripping apart couches and washing machines and jumping into wishing wells and figuring out they've been throwing it in the landfill. And so hopefully I'm not here for that time, but that time could come very quickly. And I talked about too, before I go, about maybe starting to fractionalize some of this copper that you could find and, have extra copper wiring and things like that, that are going to get them down to weighted and measured, because I do believe that'll be a demand, that there'll be very little supply. And if you're the supplier of the weights and the measure, not like the money changers, and you could already fractionalize that, smelt that metal and break it down and have little ignits and, little BB shots and pound them out or whatever, and stamp them with weights, you're going to be high demand. And you are going to be able to be kind of hold control what the people's money would be copper at that time, because eventually there's not going to be enough silver. It hasn't been in a deficit for 6 years. There's been years before where there's been deficits for, I think, as long as this period. And so it's silver is not going anywhere, but away, because it gets destroyed. It's not finite like gold. You really can't get rid of gold. You can spread it out, but gold and silver, that's why gold is what it is. But silver is more widely used than gold, and it's worth a lot more for the future in tech, and such as, again, swiping on your screen, and and all these things take silver. It's circuitry and switches and robots and war, and it all takes silver. So what an interesting time to be alive, to think that I ever saw $80 silver. And I had so much silver the last 5-10 years. It just always gets taken away from me. If I were to listen to my son, maybe he'd still be alive, because I didn't take the silver and sell it. And that's a lot of why what's happening right now is happening too, because I got involved. And if I would have been done that, I'd probably be on the road. And I'd listen to my son. So maybe if I ever come into some silver, again, or gold, and can get rid of it quickly, if I get the right, don't try to hold on to it. But, it is wealth, so it is generational. And that's why people have put it away for thousands of years, because it doesn't lose its purchasing power. So that's what's pretty interesting. Notice the price of silver goes up, so as everything's getting more expensive pretty quickly too. So it's not, it's the time for silver. So it makes sense. So I think we'll see $100 silver real quickly when it starts going up $7.43 a day. $300 silver might not be out of the question. Some of these people would never have thought they'd see any more over $50 or $60 silver. I made my told. I thought people with silver would be $100 for the end of the year. That's what I said. And I got just a few days left, but if you go back and look on this channel, I said that was possible. I never said over $100 silver, but I said $100 silver was possible this year. I'm not a prophet. I just know the cycles. I know if I can know the Yuga and the Kali Yuga cycles, I think I can pick these Fibonacci cycles and all these. I mean, the bottoms and tops aren't very hard to figure out. 20% of this market, brothers sisters, is there's no gain. Actually 80% of the gains are made in the last 20% of the market. So, yeah, that's where all the gains are made, and people lose real quick. They make a lot of money real quick, but they end up getting holding the bag too. So be careful. When you put it away, it's supposed to be put away for long term. It's not some kind of lottery ticket type of a purchase. When you purchase a metal like precious metals, you're not trying to. That's why they got Bitcoin and lottery tickets and all that, where you get rich quick. That's not a get rich quick kind of a thing. That's, if you have enough gold and silver, you are wealthy. So careful where you put your stack, or don't tell anybody. If I never told anybody where it was at, it would never have been found. But I needed to help my son out and get him out of jail. So I told somebody where my stack at, and they ended up taking it from me. So happened, my own family took it from me. I think my younger brother took my precious metals at $13, $14, and $15 an ounce. I was buying it at back then. And 5 pounds of it was Elijah's that they took. He took from his own nephew. So they'll have to deal with that. Father gets back. Had 20 pounds last time. This time I had 40 pounds. But, it is what it is. I had more too, because I ended up having to sell it to get Elijah, or to get my attorney, John. It's a big chunk to get an attorney. So, and all the gold. I never had gold like that ever. I traded for all of it and didn't spend really any much for it. I had a couple small purchases, but turned it. So a lot of hard work. But it is what it is. It's going to allow me to file the violations that was done there too. So it'll all come back. It's not like I won't get back what I put in. And if I don't get it back in this lifetime, I'll get it later anyway. So I'd rather have it later. So I would. I don't need anything in this world. You know what I'm saying? Are you random? What the hell does that mean? So, but appreciate you guys' ear. Like I said, what a difficult experience, but I have a long way to go, man. Like I said, I'll take this case to the Supreme Court, and I'm not saying that I have to, and I don't think I will, but if, whatever it takes to get this heard, so that people get stuck in the system like out here don't have it happen to them. So I'm a United States Army veteran. Don't act like I ain't ready to put my neck out. I did that at 17 to sacrifice my body, not in a revolutionary or any kind of war, for the people. That's some of us there's two kinds of people on this rock: service to self and service to others. So some of us can't help but do what we do. Father makes us serve others before we serve ourselves. So it's okay. You got to make sure you're squared away so you can help other people. So do what you need to be doing. Make sure you dot all your I's and cross all your T's. It's a pretty important time. You don't want to miss anything. Go nice and steady. Steady wins the race. Don't get excited about anything too quickly. Don't be not anxious, the word says. So enjoyed my time in here today, and we'll see you on the next live stream. If you want to support the ministry, there are links in the description. Appreciate somebody while I was in jail gave $100, I think, to my PayPal account. I think that's where it went. I haven't really much checked up on emails, but appreciate it. There's Cash App and PayPal, but don't feel obligated if you're watching the restream or you want to support the ministry. It's through your time. Spend time here. Time's something you can't buy, and time's going so absolutely quickly that you can't even make it up. It seems like it's going so fast. So, yeah, love seeing the regulars come back again and again. Appreciate it. Makes it fit this family. This is a family that we have here. HD fat, not from the high quality definition. You see, it's not real good quality, but high desert and faith and truth. So HD fat, the fat was the best part of the meat. So that's what they said back in the day. And if you ever had a chuck eye, because we talked about that before on this stream, that's the best kind. I like that, and the fat's the part that I like. But what I'm saying is, this is not watered down. I'll give you the meat. So if you want to support, it says in the book of Malachi to tithe 10% of your money. I don't want your money, I want your time. When you have some time, come back again and share some more of your time here at High Desert Faith and Truth. I do appreciate the comments while I was gone, showing support for this ministry, and I will. It was very edifying when I came and went to bed. I think it was last night. My days are kind of blurry, and ended up staying up because it just touched my heart. It put me in tears. So I appreciate you guys' support, and the comments in the comment section while they threw me in their cage. But I'll keep trying to stream now. We'll try to keep it, keep it clean here. I have the right to file appeal, and I have the right to file lawsuit, and I have. It's not a threat to anybody. I'm not threatening anybody. So, trying to keep my nose clean until I get this done. You know what I'm saying? And I've always just used the system. I know just driving home wasn't like the end of the world. So they could have came to the house and talked to me, and they never did. So all that will come out one day. And I thank Father for putting me through this test and give me the strength to keep doing it day after day. And I'll try to come back tomorrow when I feel hopefully tomorrow I'll feel a little bit better every day, hopefully. And I don't feel like I'm making much ground yet. And like I said, I'm getting a lot of sleep because I told you what was going on. But maybe Father will give me some rest tonight. Okay. All glory to Shiloh, the Redeemer of his, the one, the bridegroom who'll call out his bride at the wedding feast of the lambs. And it's by, what we're here doing. So bear witness to his crucifixion, to his suffering. And I hope you're doing the same. He said, stay in the Hados. Okay. We'll see you again. Pastor Revelation, Pastor Pod.